Welcome to episode 49 of the VR Gaming Podcast. Just yesterday, I got back from Disney World. I was there from Tuesday to Saturday. Today's Sunday. And I'm still recovering. You've never been to Disney World because you've never been to the U.S. Is there Disney over in Europe, Alex?
They've got one in Paris, I think. So
Oh,
in
okay.
France, but not in the UK.
All right. Well, I rode some roller coasters there. Here's a picture of me on Tron. This is one of the,
Nice.
and I blacked out the other guy's face because I don't have his permission or anything. So this looks like this is when you first launch. And what's cool about this is it's like you're on a motorcycle. So there's this thing that goes on your back that, kind of holds you in
Holds you
there.
in place.
Yeah. So that you won't fly off. Because it does, if you just look at a picture, it looks like, well, how the hell do you stay on this thing? But yeah, you're pretty locked in there. And
So you're like on this motorbike and you just like, what, do you just go in a straight line or has it got bends and stuff as well?
you're about to see. This is
Oh, you've got video.
Oh, this is a different here it is. This is when you see, now you can see the thing that's on your back. Some people are too big to fit in this, and I saw one guy, he had to get sent to the back of the line where they have just regular roller coaster seats if you're too big. So this is where you first get launched. And
so it's a roller coaster.
It's a roller coaster. This felt really cool.
It looks cool.
Yeah. But it's a really short ride. You go back inside, and it's a dark ride in here. And this video, you're not going to see much. So, like, the guy that did this video said he had to they made him strap the camera to his chest.
Right.
But you're racing against this other, I guess it's like AI controlled, because there isn't two competing roller coasters. It's just one roller coaster. But you're on the blue team, and then there's the orange team, and it's I don't know. I've actually never seen Tron. I've played the arcade game. I played remember the VR game? What was it, Memory Lab 2089 or something? I did that.
Yeah.
But see, the ride's already over, I think. I think it's over
short.
already. Yeah, it's a short ride.
That's the always thing with roller coasters. If they're over so soon, like you queue up for hours and then you get on a ride and it's like 40 seconds later you're done. And then it's okay, well.
Oh, that's
now I
another
guess
thing.
I'm gonna queue for another hour.
With Disney, this is my first time going to Disney. There's this thing called Genie Plus, where you like pay extra money so that you can reserve spots on rides. But then there's also something called Lightning Lanes, where you can pay more money and reserve. But like it could be like as early as 7 a.m. You have to immediately reserve a spot, and you might only be able to get something 7 or 8 hours later. That's how fucking busy this place is.
Well, that sucks then.
I know.
That's pointless.
And you got to pay $20. $20 to reserve something for 7 or 8 hours later. That's if
just for one ride.
That's if you want to skip the line, like most of the line. If you want to just wait in the line, you can do that, but you're going to wait a long time.
Yeah, that's the thing about these places. They're just full of fucking people. That's the problem,
Yeah.
If I could go by myself and just get on there on my own, then I'd be fine.
Yeah. So here's Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind. This was probably cooler. So you watch this like cinematic thing first, and it's in the dark, and then there's this explosion.
So you're not on a roller coaster with this.
You are. It's a roller coaster.
You are on a roller coaster.
Then bam, you're flying backward on a roller coaster. And this one felt crazy. It's all in the dark, like you're in space, and the cars rotate independently of the track. So like you're rotating all over the place. I've never felt anything like that.
Yeah, it looks really cool, actually.
Out loud.
We should describe it for people who are listening, but it's like I guess it's surrounded by screens, and you're kind of going through a roller coaster.
Yeah, giant screens everywhere showing, like enemies you'd see from Guardians of the Galaxy's movies, or this big like I don't know if his name is like Galactus or some shit like that, or Ultron. I don't know. One of these big giant dudes, and he's fighting you, and you're flying through space, and there's stars everywhere, and you're flying by galaxies, and so the cars are rotating as you're going down the track, and there's music blasting. Someone that was next to me on the ride said there's 6 different songs. So we got Conga by Gloria Estefan, and then she said there's there's also Tears for Fears, like Everybody Wants to Rule the World, and I can't
Oh,
remember what other songs.
this looks really cool though. I
It
like the
is
way that
really
the
cool.
seats kinda swivel.
Yeah.
It kinda
You can
changes
I'm
things up.
surprised from this video that you can even tell that they're doing that. Can you?
I could see when there's a section where it's like you rotate around a planet, and you can
Mhm.
kinda see where
Oh, okay.
it rotates the seats so you're facing the planet, and then you rotate around sideways. You're, like, almost going sideways at that point. So, yeah, it looks really cool.
Right here
Yeah,
at
this is a
this
thing
mm, at this point, I think
go on.
you'll see how they see how they rotate right there?
Yeah,
They completely rotated to the left to watch this little ending cinematic. What were you gonna say?
but I can imagine that feels really good, like, if you go in speed and then you kinda rotate sideways and stuff.
Yeah, it was so
I'd
cool.
imagine that yeah.
Kinda felt like you were dancing, like, in the roller
Yeah,
coasters. It was interesting. Then the one other thing, this was the most impressive kids ride. You know, I rode a lot of kids rides. Well, this right here is just the opening thing where the screen opens up and all the smoke pours out. And it was a really cool effect. Like you're standing there just watching this little cartoon, and then bam,
right,
screen opens up. And then you walk through the screen to queue onto the ride. This is Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. This one is like one of the most technologically impressive things. So this uses laser projectors that are projecting a lot of these scenes. They look so 3D, and you're not wearing 3D
right,
glasses or anything. It's just like the way the projectors work. It makes everything look really 3D. And this you can't tell here in this video, but this Goofy, he's riding in the I don't know, the train in front of
train,
you,
yeah,
and he looks really 3D. His background looks 3D. These Mickey and Minnie faces are 3D. They actually are rounded. Um, they're round structures, and I assume there's a projector inside of them projecting their faces onto the rounded structure because it's not animatronics. And then
right,
all these scenes look so great in person, and you don't y- you just wish you had more time to look at everything. And you're each in independent cars. You're not that are I don't know. There's computer controlled. You're not on a track or anything.
yeah. Yeah,
And
it looks really cool.
there's just so much going on. And there's one point where I was like, damn, this feels like virtual reality. Let me see. And there's wind effects and like yeah, right in here in this tornado thing, you're gonna feel all this wind in here. Let's see. This is the part where I was like, "Whoa, this feels like virtual reality." Yeah, I think we must have been surrounded by 180 or 360, not 360, but 180-degree screen or something because they put you into here, and I was like, "Damn, this feels 3D," and like I was completely immersed in this whole scene here. And then I guess your car then pulls out of that little 180 dome area.
Right.
Um, so I guess that's you can see this is all projectors shooting these waves onto the wall here. And then the city, everything looks so cool.
Yeah,
So
this looks
yeah,
great.
again, it's probably my favorite kids ride. Um,
Could you go on that as an adult and you wouldn't look stupid though, like, if you weren't with kids?
no, no.
'Cause
Oh, that's
I'd
another
like
thing. Sorry, there were tons of adults there without kids,
yeah,
tons, and I
I
get it
guess that's
now.
normal now.
I didn't understand it until I went to Disney World. So I was like, all right, yeah, this place is really fucking cool. I get it. Like it was probably overall the best theme park I've ever been to, and I really like theme parks.
Yeah.
But the
Have you
best
been to
roller coasters,
Universal?
I've been to Universal, yeah. Yeah. The best theme park or the best roller coaster park I've been to was Cedar Point in Ohio. That had some
Right.
insane roller coasters. So I guess we'll move on off of Disney.
Yeah.
All
We
right.
should talk about some
So
VR stuff. We've got a lot to talk about.
yeah. All right. Well, we got another comment from SNK God. Didn't think this would get to you guys. A bit more detail on my criticism about the show. If you love a game, tell me about what you like about the more what the hell? If you love a game, tell me about what you like about the more. Okay, this is hard to read. For longer than 2 minutes, and don't shit on it for 10. So focus on the
That's
positive and less
fair.
on the negative. Okay. But
Yeah,
then we
that's
also
fair,
got
that's fair.
Ivan here saying you guys are doing another podcast this month. Best VR podcast, in my humble opinion. I don't know if this is Ivan that we know.
Yeah, it is.
Is it? I don't
I
think it
think
is.
so.
Well, I
Is it
looked at this
not?
guy's channel, and he had a kid. He had videos of his kid. So Ivan doesn't have a
Oh,
kid, does he?
I thought it was. I just assumed it was Ivan.
Oh, all
Okay.
right. Well, no, I think we have a fan. All right. So that's
Fuck,
all.
one fan.
Yeah,
Wow.
we have one fan. So thank you, Ivan. And
Yeah, thank you.
your kid's very cute. All right. So we're moving on to UEVR. We've both played a lot of UEVR. You know, as you probably know, the Unreal Engine VR Injector came out on New Year's Day or New Year. Was it New Year's Eve or New Year's Day? New Year's Day.
New Year's Eve, I think.
New Year's Eve. And so we played a bunch of Aliens Fireteam Elite. We played it 3-player, and we beat the game. This has 6-off motion controls. Let me get to where it's
Yeah.
not him fucking with a menu. So this is a video from Waifu Enjoyer, who has tons of videos. His name's also Alex, and he has tons of videos where he tests out games, or he'll tell like what the best way is to configure them for VR. But this is a great co-op shooter. So we went all the way through it. Um, you know, we got to see the queen alien, and those environments. Once you got to those are my favorite environments. Once you got to the alien lair areas,
Yeah,
and
that's
you
the favourite. There's like I think there's like 6 campaigns, 5 are in the main game, and then there's like an extra DLC one. I don't really recommend a DLC one actually. I didn't really think that was much special. I didn't
because
really
of the
enjoy it
white
that much.
those white alien things.
I think I just kind of maybe I was just over it at that point,
Yeah.
and everything just it was just very samey. The final level of the campaign, like you said, was the best, which is like it's like being in the Aliens movie because you're in the same sort of environments as the movie. You've like having to refill sentry guns, and then you end up in the actual alien nest, and then you end up with, facing off against the Queen, and it's just really cool in VR to see those environments. It's just like genuinely like a wow moment when you first get to the alien nest area and everything. It's really cool. Like the VR obviously implementation is basic. It's not these aren't like dedicated mods. They're kind of just profiles for the injector. So you haven't got two-handed gun handling. Everything's one-handed. Even like big guns are one-handed. I was using the gun stock, so it made it feel better. But obviously, you just set your expectations to know that it's not like a proper VR mod. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's great. I mean, it looks great in the headset. A little bit blurry for me. I don't know if it was the same for you. Like a little bit soft, not like
Mm,
ultra sharp.
I turned up the
But
resolution in the injector, and nah, it wasn't blurry. But
all right, you
I'm
you
using a Quest 3. He's
yeah,
using an Index.
you've got a 4090 though, so I couldn't. So
Yeah,
I could turn
that's
the. I was kind of with my 3080. I was kind of struggling a bit at times, so I couldn't really crank anything up more than I was. But I recommend switching to DirectX 12 in the graphics menus because it makes a difference to the performance. But other than that, yeah, it's great. It's a great co-op game. I don't know if I'd play it that much single player, but co-op, it's really good fun. You've got the smart rifle, you've got the pulse rifle, you've got like this rocket launcher thing that you can fire out of your shoulder. You've got this thing you can like throw to the ground to knock back enemies. It's really cool just being in gunfights and switching between these weapons and having all the aliens, and they've got different types of aliens. Some of them are really heavily armored that can grab hold of you, and it's like Left 4 Dead basically, but with aliens, really.
Yeah, it's kind of a wave shooter where you move between areas in a level, and then like kind of you have to like set up your defenses there, and a ton of enemies will come at you, and then you move on to the next area. And
Yeah.
yeah, but the areas look so cool. You know what they're showing in the video here. This isn't a very cool area. They get much more interesting, more alien like, or more like
Yeah, there's one where you go on a planet, and then like there's a section where you go across this bridge, and then one of the drop ships from the Aliens movie comes down, and it kind of swoops down in front of you, fires rockets, and then flies off. That was really cool in VR.
yeah.
And just the scale of things as well, like just like the size of some of the structures, and like just towering above you, and you go under this like cave. and it's like huge. Like you can look up and it's like a mountain, but not. It's like a cave. It's insane to look at in VR. And there's some like Prometheus type environments that are proper HR Geiger inspired architecture. And you actually go into the Prometheus like horseshoe ship from the engineers and stuff. If you're a fan of the movies, then it's just an absolute dream because you get to see these environments and all the different things from the Aliens movies in VR in first person. That's another thing. This game was originally it's originally third person, but the mod is like a profile. You have to use the injector, then use a profile, which adds first person motion controls to it. And there are some quirks to it, like you've got like a gun on your back, which is always visible, and like whether you're moving around, sometimes it kind of you can see it in front of your face a little bit and stuff, which is a bit annoying. But it's
But
one of those things where you've
all
got
I
to.
had to do to fix that was I had to move my view just a little bit forward, which you can do with the injector with the built-in UI, and that fixed it for me.
Oh right, yeah. But didn't you have problems when you use smooth turn that like makes things funky? Can't remember.
No, as long as I pushed my view a little bit forward, just a little bit, I was fine. But then sometimes we were playing, and then like the gun for some reason would come back, but then I would just push it forward again. I didn't have to do it very often to push my view forward.
Yeah, I mean it plays great. It's just you have to understand that it's a mod that's not like dedicated mod or VR mode. It's it's a bit of a hack. So there's going to be a little bit of jank, a little bit of things that aren't perfect, but it's still worth it just to play through this game in VR, I think.
To change your view, all you do is you click both sticks to make the UI, the menu pop up, and then you just hold like the right trigger, and then with your left analog, you can move your view however you want, left, right, back, forward, and that's all I was doing. So then that
Yeah.
prevented the gun on my back from like swaying in my view.
Yeah.
And the reason you can't make the gun on your back go away is that if you do make that go away, I think it makes your primary gun go away too. Makes it invisible.
No, it's just if you make that invisible, then when you switch guns, it'll still be invisible because it
Oh, it'll
doesn't.
still be
It
invisible. Okay.
Yeah, so you won't see your secondary gun basically.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm just gonna keep going through UEVR here.
Yeah, let's get through
All
that
right.
stuff
So this
first.
is RoboCop Rogue City. You didn't play this, did you?
No, I've not played it yet.
Okay. So I loved RoboCop as a kid, so I wanted to try this. This scene right here, I think this is it. This is like the first scene where you get your gun and you start fighting enemies. It was really cool because it plays like the RoboCop music. Like I almost got teary-eyed just because I just when I was a kid, I watched RoboCop on repeat, and it just sometimes hearing music from when I was a kid or it just does something to me emotionally. But yeah, as I was destroying just making these bad guys explode, I was just getting a little emotional. But then shortly after that, I went up into the police precinct and they're like, go do this, go fill out this paperwork, do this crap, do that crap. And I was like, oh, and I kind of lost interest. Yeah, it starts out strong. The game starts out strong where you're just going through. I don't remember her name, the female.
Lew Lewis?
Lewis? I think it's Lewis maybe.
Can't remember. Yeah,
But
it's cool that they've got because it is really like a proper extension of the movies because you're in obviously what's the city? It's Detroit, and
Detroit, yeah.
you've got the woman. I think it's Lewis. Her name is. She's with you at certain points, and obviously you're playing actual proper RoboCop. He's even got the voices. What's his name? Freaking
Peter Weller?
Peter Weller does the voiceover work, and
Yeah.
yeah, it looks really cool. I've not
And it's
tried it
six
yet.
it's sixed off guns. Um
Yeah,
I think I found that a problem I often have is the crosshairs don't line up like with where the bullets actually go. And
yeah.
it's probably something you can fix if you want to mess with it. I'm not someone that wants to mess with shit too much. And that gun's still spinning for a long
Yeah,
time.
just looking at that gun.
Yeah.
Wow.
Um
Yeah, I mean, again, these. there are different profiles you can download. Your best place to find them is to go on the Flat to VR Discord, and there's a section for the games, and you search the games, and then you can look on the pins and find the actual profiles because it does take. I mean, I've not messed with it myself, but it does seem like it takes a bit of work to get everything set up really well so that your aim is perfect and the guns feel great. And obviously, you've got to make sure that the hand position's right and everything. And the guns are always like floating guns as well. Like you can keep the arms on there, but they won't have a sort of inverse schematic, so that as you move you twist your wrists and stuff, the arms are going to kind of move weirdly. So most people just get rid of the arms, so you've just got floating weapons. Um, but yeah, it's cool. It's just I think the big thing is it's just cool to be able to experience these games in VR, like these proper high quality polished games, and then just being in that environment in VR, shooting and doing stuff like that. It's really cool to just experience that sort of stuff in VR, or compared to obviously what most normal VR games are.
Yeah, and if they're gonna like a game like this, it's gonna be pretty performance heavy. I tried to do a video of this, but I was like, this is just like taxing my system too much. And my CPU is an i7 8700K. I need to upgrade. So even with a 4090, I was like, oh, this is pretty rough. But I was doing wireless
Yeah,
also. So
I think I'm gonna struggle with this one, which is, I mean, I've got so many. We'll talk about it in a bit, but I've got so many games to play at the moment. It's like
yeah,
I've got almost a backlog of games all of a sudden.
there's way too
So
much
that's why,
now. Yeah.
yeah, there's just loads to play.
All right, so we both tried What Remains of Edith Finch. This video right here that I found, uh, the title of it was this needs to be in VR because
Well, now you can.
nah, exactly, somebody commented that. Well, now you can. And I was surprised that
Yep.
someone in the comments knew about it because I was gonna actually comment it myself. But so this was very interesting. I don't know. Did you play through this whole game?
Yeah, I did it start to finish. Yeah, it's
It,
only 2 hours long, so it's not a long
okay,
game.
okay. Um, I don't know. I mean, it's kind of a walking simulator, but it has some really crazy scenes. You know, it's like what you're gonna see here. Um,
Yeah, you need to have a strong stomach for this, I will
yeah,
say, because this like this swing, like this on the video that's been played now. You're on a swing, and you're literally swinging backwards and forwards in VR. And someone in the Discord said that it made them like really sick. So it's best. I think this was best played just sat down with a gamepad, just because you. I don't want to spoil too much about this because the part of the thing is just experiencing everything first time. But you kind of you're going into this old house, which is where you grew up, and you're going through each room, and you're finding out about each one of the family members, like what happened to them. They basically all, for whatever reason, every part of your family's died. They're dead, and it's kind of going through each room and telling the story of how they died. And it's just incredible to experience. It's an incredible game anyway, but then to experience it in VR and just to, like, have all these different random things happen and just all these different events, and the story's quite emotional, and yeah, it's just really good. Um, and I just think it's best just to play it, sit down with a gamepad, just play it like you would do if you were playing it flat, but just in VR. And I think that's the best way because you are like I say, you're constantly changing scenes. There's one way you embody different animals, and you're a cat in a tree, and then you're like a fish in the water, and then you've got this one line you're sat on a swing. And so I think if you try to play this stood up with try to force motion controls with it, you just end up having a bad experience. So um, if you're happy to play games like that, we'll just start with the gamepad. I'd definitely recommend this one. It's probably one of my favorites I've played in the Injector, to be honest.
is there any reason to recommend a gamepad over using your controllers? Because you can use your VR controllers to play all these games. So,
I mean, I just find it way easier to remember where everything is with a
oh,
gamepad.
okay, yeah, because the buttons correspond. Yeah,
Yeah, everything's just yeah, been playing with gamepads for years, so I don't have to think about what to press. Whereas because everything's split in two, and like you've got to figure out, you've got like X, Y, you know,
yeah.
A/B on one hand and different hands, and yeah, I would always just play with a gamepad over using the motion controls as a gamepad, unless you're playing first person stood up. Obviously, then I want to use my motion controls.
So with this one, I didn't have to do anything in the UEVR menu. All I had to do was lower the graphical settings a little bit to make my performance okay. Did you have to do that?
Yeah, I think I turned some stuff down to like high or medium. But yeah, there's one section where you're probably gonna have to take the headset off, or maybe flick to there's like a 2D screen mode in the menus. You might need to flick to that, but that's near the end. You're like in a fish market. You'll know when it happens because it's kind of blending two scenes together, and it don't work in VR. But once you get past that, you can put the headset back on, and you can experience 99% of the game in VR.
One,
It's just,
sorry.
go on.
One thing I noticed was that sometimes getting some of the UI to pop up was kind of difficult. Did that happen to you? Like the
Yeah, I think.
interactable UI.
Did you have head aiming, or did you just use
Oh, I don't remember.
gamepad? Yeah.
Whatever the default
Yeah.
was.
I think
Maybe
sometimes
I
that's a problem sometimes
okay.
because some of the UI don't show up properly. So you can't see it in VR as much. But a lot of it works really well. Like there's times where you're walking through an environment, and like when you see you can't if you're watching the video, like there's words that pop up in front, and those words are actually in 3D. They're in 3D space. They're not like just stuck to your face, which I thought was really cool. And then they'll like disappear off and stuff. So it feels really good in VR. Like there's very little jank, there's very little problems. It's just a really good experience. Like you can sit and play it in one go for 2 hours, and honestly, I think most people will just want to play it because it's one of the things that I just couldn't stop playing it. I just didn't want to put it down because it just kept evolving. I really wanted to see what happened with the story and where it was going to go. So I
Yeah.
highly recommend. What was it called again? What Remains of
Edith Finch.
Edith
Yeah.
Finch? Yeah.
Yeah, all right. So then I tried Talos Principle 2. I loved Talos Principle VR. And this one though, my performance wasn't very good.
Yeah, this
And
looks like it's gonna be a bad one for
yeah,
performance.
yeah, and I couldn't even figure out this was another one. I couldn't even figure out how to even pick up the very first object. And I went on the Discord and I was reading. So he's gonna go over here to the left, I think, eventually, and he's gonna pick up this laser thing here. I couldn't pick this up. I didn't. It didn't even highlight for me, and I don't
Are you
know.
trying to use motion controls, or were you?
I downloaded a 6DoF profile,
Oh, right.
but then my controllers weren't acting 6DoF. So maybe there was something else I needed to do in here. I don't know. Because
I
most
don't
like
know. I've
RoboCop,
not tried it.
I just put in the 6DoF profile and it just worked. I didn't have to do anything.
Yeah.
This one maybe it's more complicated. So no.
Yeah, I've heard some people say there's issues with like artifacting and weird stuff when you've got stuff in your hands and stuff. So I don't think it's
Hmm.
perfect.
Yeah.
I was never a big fan of the first game, to be honest. A lot of people said it's really good, but I don't know. I tried like 4 different times to get into it, and I just could not get
Hmm.
into the game in VR, like the VR the VR
The
version.
v- oh really? Wow. All right. Well, then I
Yeah.
tried
Uh,
Terminator Resistance. This one, because I love Terminator movies, and the whole like story. But this one, the gun aiming was really weird. It wasn't 6DoF. The one
no, it's
I
not.
didn't try a profile for that at least. But like, yeah, the gun. I think it looked like flat. Was that what it was?
The gun's got some weird. You've got to use There's a mod in the Discord for it where you
Yeah.
can download a pack file and put it in a certain location in your game files, and it fixes the gun, makes them look better. But yeah,
Okay.
there's no stick stuff profile for it. Apparently, it acts weird if you try and use motion controls with it. Like the aiming goes weird and stuff. Like, it's just not. It's not one that I've bothered trying. I actually have the game, but I just haven't tried it because it's not 6 DoF. I can't play. For whatever reason, I just can't play shooting games without motion controls. I just can't do it
Yeah.
anymore. It just feels so lame to me.
Yeah.
Um, so I've not tried it because it hasn't got motion controls.
And there were some, I saw some, there's some occasionally some weird artifacts here and there, like some weird lighting artifacts and stuff. But I mean, other than that, it was okay. But yeah, I'm not going to go back to it until somebody figures it out. So yeah, some of these games you just kind of just need to wait for someone to come along and fix it.
Yeah. Someone will eventually will do it, or if not, then it's just one of those you'll just never play. Like we never
Yeah.
would have played it beforehand without the injector, so it's just one of those things, I guess.
Well, this is a game like before VR happened, I would have loved to have played this, but once VR happened, I'm like, I can't play first person games in flat anymore. Just can't.
Yeah.
All right, so then this game was really great. Bloodstained Ritual of the Night. This all I had to do was zoom in, like, because the game was like too far away. I just zoomed. This isn't my video. This is somebody else's video. So when I zoomed it in, I zoomed it in even more.
Yeah.
But I thought it looked great. This is a Castlevania type of game, and like the 3D looks great because you can see into the background and everything, and it all
Yeah,
is 3D looking.
this is like what's it called? Bloodstained Ritual. Because I
Ritual
was
of the
looking
Night.
this up. Yeah, it's like a Metrovania side scroller, which you wouldn't expect to work well in VR, but I've really liked side scrolls in VR. There's a setting, I don't know if you've messed with it, but there's a world scale setting where you can mess with
I've
the
messed
scale
with
of
that.
things.
I don't personally
Yeah,
notice a difference. I really don't.
it's not
I
work. If you crank it up, you need to crank it up like 4 or 5 or something, you'll see a
I put it
massive
up to
difference.
10. I put it like so Little
Really?
Nightmares. Little Nightmares. I put up to 10, and I didn't see a difference. Like barely any difference. Maybe it was the
It sh
game.
it should look like you've got a little miniature almost. Like the miniatures, it like makes the 3D really pop and makes everything look kind of more like a miniature, like you've got a little miniature diorama in front of you rather than 'cause the 3D can
Yeah.
sometimes look if I'm in like a side scroller, I want the 3D to look really strong.
Hmm.
Crank up the world scale and it makes the 3D look really pop in the
So did
headset.
you do that in Little Nightmares?
No, I haven't played it in the with the injector because I played it in 3D with
Oh, Vortex.
3D vision before,
Oh,
so
3D vision. Okay.
I already played it in VR, like kind of in 3D, so I've not played it with the injector.
Okay. So this one was really good. Then Venoneth, I'd never heard of this, but Alex, waifu enjoyer, he did a video where he was showing all these games, all these UEVR games that were on sale, and this was one of them. It was really cheap, and I like Marble Madness and I like pinball and shit like that. So I was like, well, yeah, I'll try this out. It had some weird like film grain effect, but you could go into the settings menu and fix all that. But the settings, it was a really hard to read settings menu, not because of the injector, but it was just like the way the font in the settings menu was the weirdest font I've ever seen. So it was hard to even tell what you were
Yeah.
changing. Did you try this game?
I played it a while ago, 'cause I was a tester for the injector,
Yeah.
and this is a game I tried and tested. I didn't I actually refunded it because I thought it felt really the environments looked really poor, like it had just been thrown
Mm-hmm.
together. I didn't feel it
Mm-hmm.
looked in 2D video, it looks really impressive, but in VR, you can really see, like, all the cracks and, like, all the low textures and just how things are just kinda thrown together. It just
Mm-hmm.
don't feel like a really good polished product to me. I just didn't really think it was that I think I played, like, through 3 levels, and it was like, "Oh, I don't wanna play this anymore."
The coolest looking part is the ball.
Yeah, the ball looks awesome, but the
Yeah.
environments look kind of it's almost like a mobile game almost in a way, like, it just doesn't
Mm-hmm.
look VR, because you can see everything in so much detail,
Yeah.
it doesn't hold up well, whereas it probably looks and plays better just flat because you won't see all the flaws in the geometry and stuff.
Yeah. So this might I probably got it for $5 or something. So for that, sure. But
Yeah.
I
I like
I
Marble
lost I
Madness
lost
stuff,
it.
so
Sorry.
yeah, I was gonna say I love Marble Madness, so I was expecting to really like this game, but it just didn't do it for me.
Yeah, and I lost interest pretty fast. All right. So then Monster Energy Supercross. I think there's some settings you need to mess with. I didn't use a profile or anything. Let me find where the hell is the game. All right. I guess he's gonna switch. Yeah, you press some button to switch to first person. and so like the graphics didn't look totally right to me, but I think there was some, if you go to the Flat to VR Discord, or watch this video here, like he's messing with settings in his video, a waifu enjoyer, where he's configuring things, and it's like maybe motion blur needed to be turned off, maybe some other settings needed to be adjusted. It
Yeah.
seemed like if you like this type of game, I like the feeling of, jumping these hills and stuff, but it kind of boring for me.
Yeah, I tried. There's another game called Ride 4 and Ride 5, which are motorbike, more circuit games, and I just can't get into them. I'm not really a motorbike guy, so I just, I don't know. I just find it kind of boring for some reason on a motorbike, even though
Hmm.
you'd expect it to be more like exciting. I don't know if
Yeah.
it's just the control of it, like having to lean because you have to kind of like compensate for the corner, and I don't know. I just could never get into these motorbike games.
Yeah,
Not
cornering
really
was
my thing.
kind of tough.
Yeah,
Yeah, and maybe it
it's not.
also
It's,
is
it's not very
because,
forgiving.
yeah, and like the environment doesn't change up enough. It's just this brown track the whole time.
Yeah, they're
Maybe
all
there
the
are other
same, similar
levels,
tracks.
other levels where it gets more interesting. I don't know.
Nah, they're all kinda like that, yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. So a much prettier game is Abzu. This is one where, yeah, I tried it without a profile, and I was like, this looks effed up. And I went on the Flat to VR Discord, and there was some motion in like CVAR in that section in the UI. I had to turn like motion blur, I think, all the way to 0.
Yeah.
Um,
You
I
wanna
think
use the synchronized rendering and then turn motion blur off.
I couldn't remember, but I feel like I was using stereo, but maybe I wasn't. Maybe I was using. Okay, maybe I downloaded a profile, and maybe that
Yeah, you
automatically did
probably
it for
downloaded
me.
yeah,
But
probably did 'cause
what
it
what I
has to be
didn't
running
get
stereo.
is like I downloaded a profile. Well, why didn't that profile also fix the motion blur issue? Because if you
I
don't
don't
fix that
know.
motion blur issue, then the game is pretty much unplayable.
Yeah,
Y-
everything just looks blurry and horrible.
Yeah, but this game looks great in VR. I beat this game back in, on flat years ago, and I loved it then. And yeah, this makes me want to do it again in VR. There's
Yeah, I
so
played
many
through it in VR.
fish. You did? Okay.
Yeah, it's great. That was my first time playing it as well, so I'd like,
That's
it was
awesome.
cool experiencing it, yeah. There's sections there's one section as well where you got all these whales with you,
Yeah.
like, you're swimming up I think either down or up, straight upwards, and, like, there's all these humpback whales and stuff, and it just looks so cool in VR, like, really, really impressive. I really loved it.
Yeah, so definite recommend, but just definitely get the settings right. I don't know what.
Yeah,
I guess I'll move on to the next one. Little Nightmares 1 and 2. So I tried them both in VR. Well, this video is just
yeah,
Little Nightmares 1. In this
yeah.
video, yeah, he's trying it in first person. So I guess he got a mod to do first person. I don't think
There's
I
no
would.
point, though.
Yeah, there's no point in doing this
Look at
game first person.
Look to the right, well, you obviously, you're not looking to that, but if you look to the right, it's black because it's only
Yeah,
got environments to your left, so I don't know. I would just never play it like that. You could bring the camera
yeah.
close, like, bring the camera close in and make it more closer than so it's not as panned out, and
I
obviously
think
then you can use your
there
head
you
and
go,
look around
like
more.
that,
Yeah,
like this.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, I brought the camera in close when I played, and I was like, "Oh, this is a video I should. This is a game I should actually do a video of." So that's what I want to do to show. I haven't
yeah,
done
it's a great game,
a
great game.
UEVR.
I
I
love
haven't
it.
done a UEVR video on my channel yet, and I was like, well, maybe I could just play all the way through this and do a video or something. Yeah, it seemed really cool, really, really dark, story, and there's like people committing suicide you come across as you're going through the levels,
Yeah,
and
it gets really freaky and, like, the story, like you say, it's really dark and takes some twists and turns. Same with the second game. The second game both games have got great endings as well, like, the endings are really good in both. I recommend both of them. And again, play with the world scale. I know you said you didn't really see much difference, but it should. Maybe it's different with virtual desktop or something, I don't know.
hmm.
With Steam VR and Open VR, you like the world scale makes a massive difference. It looks so much better with these sort of games look so much cooler with world scale turned up.
In world scale is in what section of the UI?
I think it's in the UEVR. I think not UEVR, but Unreal section, I think.
Oh, Unreal. Okay.
Yeah, it's on there.
All right. So this is another one that Alex, waifu enjoyer, recommended on his sale video. This is a Monster Truck Championship. I got this for like $5. It starts out like third person view outside of your truck, but there's a button you press to go inside. That's how I was playing it, like right here. And I think it looks really cool. I thought this game was really fun,
Yeah,
but you're gonna need
strong stomach.
a strong stomach for yeah. Oh, and the steering was like really sensitive. I had to turn the steering down a lot. And what's interesting is there's steering for both axles. I've never played a game like that. Have you? They
No,
they steer
I've heard that
they
it's got
steer
steering wheel
independently.
support.
Well,
Oh
I don't know how
yeah,
you.
I know that. We've got rear wheel steering, I think. Does it not
Yeah,
work just on one wheel though?
if you have a physical wheel, I don't I don't know how that works because you can turn the front wheels and the rear wheels independently.
Oh
So
right.
that like the front wheels are pointed to the left and the rear wheels are pointed to the right simultaneously. Uh, so I have no clue how that would work with a wheel, with a physical wheel.
Yeah,
I
I
guess
would want to try it at some point.
yeah. He switched to third person view because like you're gonna do a bunch of flips and all sorts of crazy shit. I don't know what he's doing in this video. But yeah, you learn all sorts of techniques. There's, you know, tutorial part where it'll teach you how to do all the tricks and everything, and I thought it was fun. But you don't go very fast, you know,
No,
because
it's more
you're in a
about the
monster truck.
jumps and yeah. It's like jumps and stuff in it.
Yeah,
Yeah, it looks. I think it'd be really cool to experience that in VR. Like sat up high in this big monster truck, and if it works my wheel, I'd definitely like want to try it out. So
yeah. All right, so then the Beast Inside. This was on a sale. I got it for like $5. It looked good, but I couldn't
Right.
manage. It was very hard to get things to be interactable. Where like
Right,
you have to get this perfect distance away from things, and like it was too difficult.
janky.
Yeah, so I wouldn't recommend this unless somebody
Right.
fixes it, comes up with some sort of solution.
Yeah.
You know who likes the Beast Inside, Alex?
Is this
No.
gonna be
Oh
go
well,
on?
it's a Disney joke. Belle likes the Beast Inside. That's
Oh, I see.
right.
I got it.
Okay. All right. Deliver Us the Moon. I think I used a profile for this, and it still didn't feel right to me because this is supposed to be a third person game, and it
Mm.
made it first person. So the camera was moving around really strangely. Okay, he looks like he's playing it in third person. Maybe I shouldn't have been playing it first person.
Yeah, I played a lot of this for third person,
Yeah.
just a standard. It was all right. I thought it was good at first, but then the game got really boring after a while. It's more of like a walking sim with some light puzzles. Once you get to the moon, the environments just look the same, obviously, because you're on the moon. So it's like really, I was kind of like rushing through just to get through it, and I got bored and stopped playing it. But the first bit, like you start on the Earth, which is like scorched Earth, and you have
Hmm.
to get on a rocket, and then you have to do like a startup sequence where you have to follow instructions to flick switches and stuff. It would work really well in VR actually if they ever ported it with motion controls. And then you're on a space station, and then like the space station starts blowing up, and you have to like you're in zero gravity. It's kind of like a drift.
Hmm.
Ever played a drift? It's kind of like
Yeah.
that, but there's just one section like that. And then you get on the moon, and it's really cool. Like I say, a good couple of hours or so of it. I was really enjoying it, but then it just got really repetitive and dull after a while, and I just lost interest.
Okay. Delivers Mars had a cool intro, a really cool intro, but it was uh then it was just like, hey, go here and fix this panel, and go here and fix this panel. And yeah, then it did seem, oh, this is boring. And I just, you know, I bought so many of these Unreal Engine games just to like mostly to just try them out. So then I just moved on to the next one. But it has
Yeah, that's
a cool. Did you try this one?
No, because I tried the first game. Once I lost interest in the first game, I was like, well, what's the point in trying the second game? I've actually got it on Epic for free, so I could try it, but maybe I'll just try the intro if you said it's cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. All right. Then I tried Pseudo Regalia. This looks kind of like an N64 game. You can see, the textures are
Yeah, yeah.
kind of low res. It seemed fun if you're into retro games. There were settings where you could turn off the retro look and make it look like more modern, and that actually made it look worse, I thought. Then it made it just look like a really shitty game.
Well, it looks like a
Um,
shitty game anyway to
it
me, but
looks way better this way than it does like with the more modern look.
yeah,
Um, I didn't play it for
yeah,
very long,
yeah,
but kind of
it
your
works.
yeah, it reminds me of Mario 64. Except you have an attack and you can do like acrobatic stuff. Oh, and well, it has a first-person view built into the game. You don't even have to go into the UI. It took me a while to realize
All
that.
right.
So that's nice when a game has it built in, so you don't have to fuck with the injector UI.
Yeah.
All right. So Orcs Must Die 3. I like these types of games, these tower defense games, and this worked perfectly. I didn't have to do anything. I just loaded it in and played. I don't think I had to adjust anything. So you set up traps, and the orcs. If you set up your traps, and then eventually you say, like, "All right, I'm ready," and then the orcs come, and then you can fight them. Maybe I probably yeah, I must have used a sixth off profile because I was using my bow and arrow in sixth off.
All right.
Yeah. Well, in this video, it's all
Interesting.
third person. I was playing first person. So yeah, just
All right.
download the profile.
Yeah. You must have used a mod then.
Yeah, this video must be old.
Yeah. Don't forget the test that a
Yeah,
lot of the testing was done before
yeah,
even it was possible to do
yeah.
motion controls.
Yeah, so go to the Flat to VR Discord and or maybe I got the profile just from the spreadsheet links. Like Alex has his sixth off profiles there, and isn't there
Yeah.
another repository?
I think they're working on something, but the best place is the Discord. Just go search for each game in the UE. There's a
Yeah.
separate section called UE Games. Search for just to search for the game you want and just see if there's a profile there already, and it can save you obviously a lot of messing around, setting things up with some games. But not every game's got a profile, and some games you don't need to. Once you learn like a few different things, like certain things that you might need to turn off, like depth of field and stuff like that, it's really easy to just jump in a game, quickly set it up, and then just play it. So
Have you tried any of those UEVR experiences that are in the Discord?
no,
Okay, I haven't
I've
either.
got too many. I've got too many actual proper good games to play. I
Yeah.
can't be asked to mess around with experiences.
This is for you to talk about. Journey to the Savage Planet.
Yeah, yeah. Journey to the Savage Planet is a co-op. So you can play it single player, but it's also got two-player co-op, like story-driven shooter, which has got a profile with motion controls, and it's really, really good with motion controls. It works really well. The entire game's played with one gun, a pistol that you can upgrade. So it works really well because you don't have two-handed weapons. You're just using a pistol. You get like upgrades, like you can get a jetpack and a grappling hook and stuff. And yeah, me and Josh played through this entire thing, and I recommend putting the DirectX 12 mode on because, again, like with Aliens Fireteam, it massively improves performance. And yeah, it just looks. There's a few things that are a little bit weird, like the clouds. If you turn your head in the headset, the clouds kind of rotate weirdly. Some of the reflections are slightly off, but overall, it looks pretty good. Performance is decent if you put it in DirectX 12 mode, as long as you've got a decent PC, obviously. And yeah, if you play it, I think even single player would be enjoyable, but co-op especially, we had a lot of fun with it. You're kind of like boosting around, jetpacking all over the place. It's kind of a Metroidvania in a way because you get different power-ups and upgrades, then you can go back to different areas you've been to before to unlock different routes and stuff, and you've got a big map that you can look at. Um, yeah, it's we played through it start to finish, and really enjoyed it. So this is one Journey to the Savage Planet. It's a really good. It's quite funny as well. Like it's like you do this melee attack, and you literally just like this leg just suddenly appears and like boots things out of the way. And melee in the flat game, because we just had invisible hands, but you can like slap people, you can walk up and just slap them in the face and stuff. It's quite goofy, quite funny. Not like too serious, cartoony looking. Not cartoony, but it's like very bright, vivid colors. You've got these aliens that run around and like you see they like scream, like I'm not gonna even try and do it, but they like scream at the top of their voice while they're running around at full speed. It's a really fun first person shooter that you can play in VR now with motion controls. And I think out of all the stuff I've tried, this is probably my favorite with the motion controls so far. Felt
Wow.
most native. Yeah.
You said you played it start to finish all in one day?
No, over
Oh,
several days. But yeah,
oh,
we've me and Josh spent a couple, 3 weekends or whatever, like playing through it. It's got some really cool boss fights as well. It's good.
all right. Your next game is, I don't know how you say it. Jusant?
Jusant, I think.
Jusant?
It's, yeah, I think it's like French. Jusant.
Jusant.
It's spelled Jusant. It's a game about climbing, actually. Third person. You It's got a really cool climbing mechanic where you kind of use your triggers to control each arm. So like your right trigger will grab with the right hand, and then you let go. Then you hold onto the right trigger. Then you press your joystick forwards, and that controls your left arm. And then you press the left trigger. Then if you let go of the right trigger while holding the left trigger, then you can move your right arm with the joystick, and you can like, reach out for different ledges and stuff to grab. And then it kind of adds things like you can stick I don't know what they're called, like where you can stick things in the wall because anchor points, and then you can let go and then swing and then jump across to different gaps and stuff, and there's different powers that you get. There's different elements, so like you start off just learning the climbing basics, and then you'll go to an area where it's really scorched and sunny, and like certain things that you can make grow out of like plants that you can like use your powers to make grow will disintegrate really quickly. So you've got to move quickly across. And then there's one way you've got to use light to get through a cave section. And there's one section where there's wind that you've got to fight against. It's just a really chill game. That's not like I don't even know if you can die, to be honest with you. I never died in the game. It's not right. It's not a game where you're gonna die a lot. It's more just figuring out how to get up these different climbs, the different sections in the mountain. Graphics look great. You do need to something you need to do with this game. Something called split. I can't remember. The best thing to do is to go on the Discord to find out. But the game will look broken with native and sequential. You have to use I think it's called split screen compatibility mode or something, which is in the advanced section in the options, and that fixes it. But once you've got
Hmm.
that done, and then it works great. But yeah, I've just played it third person. I brought the camera a little bit closer, and I just played through the entire thing third person like that, just like you would regularly, and I had a great time with it. It's only about
Would it,
4 hours long though.
would it be possible to make this first person six off motion controls? Would that be
Someone did
or
make a first person profile, but I just think you're just gonna spend most of your time looking at a wall, and like the
Mhm.
walls aren't gonna be
Yeah.
that interesting. Yeah, I just think it's better to some games. I just think you're better off just playing them as they were intended. I think for me,
Sure.
I'm fine playing third person games in third person VR. Some people just can't understand why you would even want to do it. Whereas personally, I find them great. Like you've got the full world surrounding you. You can just naturally look around with your head. You've got the scale and the 3D. I just think it's a better way to play games personally than just on a regular monitor. But some people refuse to play games unless the first person with motion controls. But yeah, I mean, someone could make a mod for it where it'd be like the climb or something. You're like reaching out for ledges, but it would take a lot of work, and
Yeah, that
I
seems
don't
like that'd be
know.
really hard to do.
Yeah, I don't know if it's ever going to happen. I think it's great. It's like a really cool mechanic. It's like the climbing works really well, and it just progressively introduces new elements and do new areas and stuff. I really enjoyed it. It's right about 4 hours long. It's not really long. I think I did it in like three game sessions, and yeah, it was cool. It's
Hmm.
free on Game Pass as well. So if you well, not free, but if you subscribe to Game Pass, you can play this game plus a bunch of other stuff with the Injector for like I think it's $10 a month or something. I don't know. It's not crazy expensive.
Your next game is Lies of P. I only just realized or just learned what P stands for.
Yeah, Pinocchio.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is another Game Pass game. So I've got Game Pass, subscribed to Game Pass. So I was playing just on, and I was playing Lies of P. In fact, I'm still playing this game. This is like a Souls-like game, which I've never really been able to get into. Which is one of the reasons why I thought we'll do it through Game Pass, because then if I don't like it, then I ain't really. It's not really cost me anything. But I've actually really, really enjoying it way more than I expected. A lot of people have compared it to Bloodborne, but that's a game I've never played. With, like how it's more dodgy. Like you can dodge a lot, you can parry and block as well. But just the combat, the flow of the combat apparently is more like Bloodborne than Dark Souls and Demon Souls. Visually, it looks fantastic. Like really, really good in the headset. The only thing you have to change is there's something in the like CVARs section called light culling. You have to turn that to 0, otherwise you get some stuff showing up one eye, not the other. But everything else is perfect. I just tweaked the world scale a little bit. I moved the camera a little bit, but that's all personal preference. And yeah, it plays perfect. I just play it third person. You can get there's loads and loads of cool boss fights. It's just a really good game. Really good game. I've put like a good 4 or 5 hours into it now, and I really enjoy playing it. I'm gonna keep playing it. Apparently, it's really really long, like 30 hours long or something stupid. So it's gonna be a long game to play through.
Are you
But
doing
yeah,
a
if you like
third person or first?
a third person, yeah,
Okay.
because you're rolling and diving and blocking and stuff. It just
Yeah.
I don't think it'd work. You could try it first. There is a mod for it, a profile for first person, but I think it'd be cool maybe to switch to first person sometimes, like just to see the environments. But when you're in combat, you kind of want to be third person. But yeah, if you
Yeah.
like Souls-like or Bloodborne or any of those sort of games, then I'd definitely recommend playing it. And if you don't, but you've always been interested in trying some of these stuff, I would recommend trying it anyway because, like I say, I enjoying it way more than I expected. I'm not very good at these games, but I don't think it's really really hard. Like I do die, and obviously you do have to retry sections, but overall, I'm finding I'm getting through it pretty okay, and I'm not like struggling, and I've leveled up my character, and it's the boss fights that are the hardest. They might take me 10, 15 tries sometimes, but I just keep persevering, and they're enjoyable. I feel like they're not like boss fights where you just feel like you've got no chance. It's just kind of watching for the attack patterns and trying to figure out strategies how to take them out. So yeah, if you've got Game Pass, if you want to try Game Pass out, there's a bunch of games you can play with the Injector. So it could be worth just doing a month. You can even get if you've never subscribed to Game Pass, you can get like a month for like $1 or something stupid like that, and try out some of these games. And then if you like them, you can just buy them on Steam if you want to buy them on Steam. You don't have to keep them on Game Pass.
How does Game Pass work with Steam VR? How do they work together?
You just start Steam VR separate,
Hmm.
and because there are actual games on Game Pass that are VR, and apparently they work. So I think you just start Steam VR and then you start the game, and it kind of asks you to go into VR mode or something. I've
Okay.
never tried it because I've always I prefer to buy and all my games generally on Steam, but it was just this is like I wanted to try this, but it's like full price game, and there were a couple of the games I wanted to try anyway on Game Pass. So I thought I'll give it a go, and I'm really enjoying it.
Are you
Recommend it.
playing as
Lies of P.
Pinocchio?
Yeah, that's Pinocchio. That's the guy you
Does
play
your
as.
nose grow?
No, but there is like
Oh.
there's this whole thing about lying in the game. Like you have a choice sometimes to lie or tell the truth and stuff. It's got elements, and you've Geppetto's in there, and there's it's definitely because the Pinocchio is actually what's the word for it? It's like free use or whatever. It's not like it's not no one
Oh.
owns the rights to it. So that's why you
Oh.
see so many movies and games and stuff with them in because
I didn't
it's
see
free.
any Pinocchio stuff at Disney, so maybe that's why. Because they're
Yeah,
like,
because they
well,
don't own the rights to
we
it.
don't own it anymore. Hmm. All
But
right.
it's like Winnie the Pooh. Winnie the Pooh's free now. It's like People can make
Oh,
whatever they
well,
want
they
with
had
Winnie the
Winnie the
Pooh.
Pooh rides. I thought it was
It used to,
like Winnie the Pooh is free now?
it's
Huh, I
free,
didn't
so
know
you
that.
free use now. It's just I
Oh,
think it was last year or something. Someone made
okay.
a Winnie the Pooh horror movie, like
Oh, really?
where Winnie the Pooh's like a evil. Yeah, people are just going to town with it now. I think Mickey Mouse is actually also going to be coming up.
Only Steamboat Willie, I think. I think
Oh,
like
is it
that
just Steamboat Willie?
I think
Yeah.
only stuff like that old, not all of Mickey.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
I'm in a little bit different iterations and stuff, so
Yeah. Yeah. I will go to the first made for VR game.
yeah, I mean,
Memories from Beyond a Coral Sea.
and if you've
So
listened to this and let us know what you think to the UEVR stuff. Obviously, that was quite heavy, because it's just come out, we've tried a lot of stuff, but I'll just if people wanna know the stuff we've tried in UEVR, then I'm happy to talk about, like, every month, like, if we've tried something new, like, what we think of it, whether it works well and stuff. Or if people don't wanna hear it, then we can I'll talk about it, so let us know. But yeah, this is a game that was actually free, a while ago. I think it was it like 2022 or something? It was quite a long time ago, and it
I
came
think
out, but it was
I
really
feel like
rough.
I feel like it was last year.
Was it last year? I don't
I
know.
think so.
It's been out for a while though. It was free, and then they made it paid. It's like £3.99, £5, $5, I think, or something. It's not expensive. But it's only short. It took me. See, some people said they took like 4 hours. It took me 2 hours to like
Mhm.
see the end of this thing. But yeah, it came out and it had teleport only, and like there was just stuff that were just kind of a bit janky. It didn't have a save system, so you had to play through the entire thing in one go. Which because I was reading people saying it was like 3 to 4 hours. I was like, I'm not going to play something for 3 to 4 hours in one go. So
That's
I
only
was
some
waiting
crazy
for
shit I'd
the
do.
yeah, yeah. You did it. You did it in one go.
Yeah, I did it in one go.
How
Yeah.
long did it take you?
Oh, I don't I oh yeah, I played through and got pretty far, and then I had to go do something else, and then I just assumed it saved, and then I was like, "Fuck!" And then I replayed it, but I really don't remember.
Well, if you know what you need to do, you can get through it pretty
Yeah,
quick anyway.
you can get yeah back to where you were really fast. Yeah.
But yeah, you start up on a ship and then you get thrown overboard, which was absolutely terrifying for me. And then you end up the game has some cool room scale stuff. Like it tells you to lie down and close your eyes, and like it won't progress forward unless you literally lie down. So there's no like crouch button. You can't really play this game seated. You have to stand up, um, because it does use a lot of room scale stuff. Yeah, you lie down, you close your eyes, and then you wake up on this deserted little island. And there's like a voiceover, really cool, well done voiceover, like talking to you about your situation and stuff. And you can find little notes that tell you like backstory about things, and it's all voiced over, really well done. And you have like a bag, and you can find things, and you can put stuff in the bag, and then you can like put your head inside the bag, and you see all the stuff that's inside it, and then you can like grab what you need, and then take your head out of the bag. It's quite a cool inventory system actually, because
Yeah.
it's uses like 3D space in a really cool way, without having stuff floating in the real like game world. And yeah, you get a rope, and then you have to use that rope to craft things. So you have to build a raft by like finding pieces of wood and putting them together, and then tapping the rope on them to make planks. And then you have to literally physically drag the raft into the water, and the physics are quite good. And when you're on the raft, you have to make a paddle, and then you paddle around, and the water looks really cool. Like visually, it's really impressive. Actually, it's a nice looking game. Not a lot to it. Like you paddle across this section to these bunch of small islands, and then you have to kind of figure out what the game wants you to do, which I won't obviously spoil. And then once you figure out what you need to do, you do something else, and then the game kind of says to be continued. So it's not. It's like a prequel almost to something that's going to be released, but it's not obviously like a full game with a full story or anything.
Did you say that it just recently got updated? Did you say that? I don't remember.
Well, you messaged me about the save
Yeah.
system, and that's when I
Yeah,
tried. I don't know if
and
that
they added the save system, and they added Free Loco. Like, or did they already have Free Loco? I can't
It
remember.
had Free Loco, it was just a save system I was waiting for.
Okay. All right. Yeah,
But
I
yeah,
like
I
this a lot.
recommend it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's worth it for the price if you like exploration sort of adventure games. The environments are really cool. You can go underwater and swim around and stuff. Yeah, it's a really well-made little 2-hour-ish, 3 hours if you really spend time looking for every little secret and stuff. Because there are different things I didn't see, but once I got I don't want to spoil it, but once I got a certain thing, it told me what I needed to do, I just did the thing, and then that's when I got to the end of the demo, not demo, the whatever you want to call it.
I think I tried to open all the chests. Like every chest I could see, I was like, all right, I need to get in there and get that.
Yeah, I didn't do that.
But they were just like collectible type things, nothing that really mattered, I think.
Yeah, the little secrets, um, they're not you don't need to do them. There's one thing that you do need just to progress,
Mhm.
um, so if you don't find that thing and you find some other stuff, you might end up opening boxes you don't need to. But yeah, it's really cool. What's it called again? Coral Memories Beyond the
Memories from
Coral
Beyond the
Sea?
Coral Sea.
Yeah, I recommend it.
Yeah. All right. So my next one is I did a video about arcade time capsule. This is a free thing you can download. You can download off the Discord. There's this arcade time capsule Discord. If you need the link, it's in my video here. If you go to Main Fan and look for the arcade time capsule video, so it's an 80s 90s arcade. In this video that I did, they only had teleport and snap turn, but he's updated it now where it has smooth loco and smooth turn. I haven't tried that yet, but yeah, you can go up right up to these cabinets, and they're fully rendered with all the art, all the bezel art, the marquee art, the control panel art. Whereas like New Retro Arcade Neon, it came out in 2019, that was a VR arcade game type of thing where you go through an arcade. It was missing a lot of the art, and well, you could only actually have the art if you downloaded like somebody else's art pack that they did, and then you'd have to put it into the folders. Whereas this, you just download this thing and you hit the exe and bam, you're in it. And you don't have to do well. The one thing you do have to do is if you want to actually play these games, you're gonna have to download the MAME ROMs because this is running, but it's running an old version of MAME, like 0.139, which is really old. That's from 2010. MAME is way beyond that now, so you're gonna have to find those ROMs. If you need help with that, let me know because I can help. But there's every game you can think of is here, and you use one thing that's weird about this is you use the motion controllers to navigate around, but then you have to switch to a gamepad or like some people use a USB, like they use a fight stick, like an arcade stick that they keep just like set up in one spot, and I guess they try to line it up with the cabinet. Um, that makes it a little bit cumbersome. So in this video, in my left hand, I have an Xbox One wireless gamepad, and then my right hand, I had my Quest 3 controller. You can move around and do everything just with one like motion controller. So your left one, you can just leave somewhere else, and you can see. And if you're watching the video right now, you can see reflections of the lights on the screen, on the bezel and stuff. So it looks really good. It looks a lot better than New Retro Arcade Neon. I went into that as a comparison, and I was like, oh shit, this looks way blurrier and more aliased. So, but one thing you could do with New Retro Arcade Neon is you could use motion controls to play the arcade games. But when I went back in to try it again, I couldn't get my Quest 3 controllers to work in the arcade games. I when I had a Vive and probably when I had an Index, it worked fine, I think. But the Quest 3 ones weren't working. I don't know why. So I guess that there's also there's multiple floors, and all of the like dedicated cabinets look awesome where they have all the art, but then there are some where it's like this. These types of like sit down cabinets that probably they had mostly in Asia. I never saw these in the U.S. I don't know if do you ever see these types of cabinets in Europe, or did you when you were younger?
No, I've never seen them.
Yeah, they're big in Japan, I guess. I'm used to stand up. I've only ever seen stand up cabinets.
Yeah.
So a lot of these are these sit down types, and maybe these will eventually get dedicated cabinets. And in this video, I just keep showing different floors. Here I'm playing Street Fighter 2. Here I'm playing Shinobi. You get the idea. Um,
Yeah, I watched the
so,
video a bit, and I was really impressed with the quality of like the cabinets. Looked really like, the lighting. Like, it looks like you get like reflections, and it looks like the actual the cabinets look like they're made out of the actual materials they should be. Like they've got
yeah.
that sort of bit of glossy shine here and there, and a bit of like yeah, just like the way that the light shines on the plastics and the metals and stuff. Looks really well
Yeah.
done.
Yeah, it's done in Unreal Engine 4. I don't know what exact version, but that's, you're going to get better graphics that way. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. You want to go to the next one? Bulletstorm VR.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I've not played loads. Played about an hour. I think by now everyone has unfortunately realized that this game didn't live up to the expectations. Um, yeah, it's difficult to talk about this because this was one of my most anticipated games of this year, and then it's ended up being really disappointing. I think the game itself could still be great in VR. I just think that the implementation by the developers wasn't great. I mean, the game for starters got so many bugs and issues. Like some people have had issues where they've had like a black screen where it literally wouldn't load up. Some people have had issues with controllers just literally not working, responding. Um, I've got issues with the hands not lining up with my controllers properly, like with the index controllers. 'Cause I played this before it released on a test version, and it was really bad. Like when I hold my hand out, when I'm pointing my hand forward, the gun was literally, quite literally, 90 degrees vertical. It was like really, really bad. And
Were
then
you giving
they
them
fixed it.
feedback?
I emailed them, but it was only like 2 days
Okay.
before release at that point.
Uh,
'Cause I was talking to someone like I do some work for a company who does like VR marketing and stuff, and I was just talking to someone in there just saying like this game just is not ready and it should be delayed. And they were saying, I think it's fine. They're gonna patch it and it'll be fine. And
it already was
it's
delayed.
real yeah, but even I think they should have
Delayed
just
again.
delayed
Yeah.
it more. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, game's got massacred. It's got really bad reviews across majority of content creators and Uproad VR and Road to VR. It's got mostly negative reviews on Steam. I think it's like got a 2.8 or something, or 3 out of 5 on Quest store. It's not just, a few people complaining about this. This is just it's a bad port. I mean, I think the game is a good game. I just think the port's just got real problems, and a lot of it's just the attention to detail is just not there. There's a lot of issues, even if they fix a lot of the stuff, like with the gun handling, with the gun aim and everything. Guns themselves don't feel fun to use. They like really feel really weak. There's no recoil, like even one-handed. Like you've got a big two-handed weapon, you can just one-hand it and there's zero recoil. It won't like kick or do anything.
Hmm.
When you hit the enemies feel like they're spongy. They don't even really react. It's just not satisfying. I was watching some of the flat game just to compare, and the flat game's obviously got it looks really visceral and like when you kill enemies, like it looks really satisfying. You've put loads of like screen shake and stuff in there, and you're sliding around and you're moving. And in this, it just feels weak and just lame. So they've got like a kick thing you can do there. You can kick stuff. All you do is you press. I think is it up or down? I think it's down on the thumbstick, and like this leg just like appears out of somewhere, and it just don't feel good. I'd rather just get rid of the leg, just have it invisible. because just having some weird leg just suddenly teleport and then disappear in front of you just feels really strange. And you can do
Mm.
this slide where you can slide forward, but you basically have to walk forward, then push up on the. You're basically pushing up on both thumbsticks, and you instantly like just slide full speed. It's quite jarring in VR. Like you go from standing to like crouched instantly, like no transition, and you're full speed, and then as soon as you let go of the thumbstick, you instantly stop, like dead. You can't. It's just so bad. It just doesn't feel good at all. So there's just
And
so many. I would have should have just had it where you crouch in real life, like as you're running, you can just crouch and you can like just smooth it out a bit. Just smooth the slide out. Get rid of. And again, you've got these legs that just appear in front of you, like these two legs that are like floating in front of you. It just looks so bad. Just get rid of the legs. Just have your slide, but like transition it a little bit more so you kind of like speed up and slow down a little bit, or at least have an option to do that because yeah, some people might get sick, but I think it just feels so strange, just the way it like pops into a slide and then instantly stops you. It just feels so terrible.
I couldn't even get past the title screen. Like, so I got to the title screen, and then my Quest 3 controllers just wouldn't do anything. So I don't know. I don't know what the issue is. I tried it multiple
Yeah,
times on different
some
days and
people.
just
Yeah, a few people have had reports of that. So I saw some people say the index controls don't work anymore, but I tried it and they do. But when they relaunched it, they actually adjusted the angle so it was more playable, but still wasn't perfect. And then they've done another update, and now it's like 45 degrees into the air. So I don't know what the fuck they're doing. It seems like they've just rushed out a few patches and they've just made things worse almost. They've broken things and they've made things even worse than it was. Because the game was originally in Unreal Engine 3, and apparently they've ported it to Unreal Engine 4. So they've like had to redo a lot of the stuff. But even it's just I don't know. There's just so many things that hasn't translated well. The AI is really bad. The graphics are decent, but they could be a lot better. Like definitely downgraded a lot of the graphics for the Quest. I feel like, um, yeah, it's just like it looks better in the headset than I expected, but there's still times where the game looks really ugly, like looks really bad, and then there are times when the game looks pretty good. So it's just inconsistent, and it just feels like they've not. It feels like the developers kind of haven't. I know they probably do care, but it just feels like they haven't cared enough to spend the time they need to on the details and make it as good as it could be. Because I still feel like this game could be amazing in VR. Like it just if like you've got the leash, you can leash with one hand, you can pull things towards you, you can kick them, um, you can shoot and slide and stuff. It sounds like it should work great in VR, and somehow they've managed to just not get the details right, and it just feels kind of bad.
hmm.
So I'll keep an eye on it. I'm waiting for updates, um, and we'll update if it gets better. And I'll probably make a video at some point covering it if they don't like if they get it. But either way, I'll say whether I think it's at a certain point they're either gonna keep working on it or they're just gonna just abandon it. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what they do. But yeah, it's hard to come back from such a bad launch because there's so many other stuff for us to play. Like we're going to talk about obviously all the other stuff we're playing. You kind of lose. You kind of forget about it and you just move on. You're not going to keep revisiting a game when it's over and over again. You have to get the next patch needs to be good because each time they do a patch and they still don't fix stuff and it's still not good, less and less people are going to keep coming back to it to try it. So they need to really make sure the next patch is really well done.
All right, I'm gonna go to the next game. So
Okay.
they're Jedi Knight 2, Jedi Outcast, and Jedi Knight Jedi Academy are both. They originally were the VR mods were Quest version only. Now they have the PC version. So I played them both, and you've already played one or both of them.
I tried one, but it's too old for me. Like, I can't.
Yeah, for Alex, it's too old. For me, what I liked about it was that you can get into the game really fast and just start going and just start playing. You start in Jedi. So Jedi Outcast came out first. I don't remember like if it came out in like 2001 or something like that. Yeah, you can immediately tell, you know, how dated it looks, but for me, it doesn't matter much. You know, I'm not that worried
Yeah,
about graphics.
you're a retro gamer, so
Yeah, I'm a
you're
retro.
fine.
Yeah, but I never played this game, you know, when it came out. Uh, I don't know why I never did. I'm not sure. But well, I
I
was
don't
in
know.
college then. I was in college then,
You
and
own the game, that's the thing. Like, it's in your library. I played it through your library, so it was
oh,
weird how you.
I only, well, there was a big Star Wars sale at one time where
Oh,
I
right,
bought a
maybe like
bunch
a
of
package
games all
deal.
at once, and that might have been
Yeah.
why I owned them. But the first time I ever played it was for these mods. Yeah, it was cool. My initial reaction with Jedi Outcast was this looks too dark. Did you think it was a little bit too dark? Maybe not. You're in an index, a little brighter there. And
Yeah.
when I went to the settings and adjusted the brightness all the way up in the game, it still didn't. It didn't seem like it made a difference. That was my only issue. Otherwise, yeah, the motion controls and everything felt great. Shooting felt great. So I was going through shooting stormtroopers. I didn't have a lightsaber. In Jedi Outcast, you just start with a gun. And I went through, and I got stuck at one point. There's this part where you have to shoot this generator or something and it shoots like a beam or fire or something at you. And I blew up the generator, and then I just didn't know where to go. There was this glass by the generator, and I was like, well, do I have to break this glass? And I was trying everything. And I read online, like, oh, it was behind the generator, there's some door, but I just never saw it. Then I went to Jedi Knight, Jedi Academy, and that one you start with a lightsaber. So that was pretty
Right.
cool. And, you know, I went through this foresty environment, and, like, I ended up seeing Luke Skywalker. He talks to you and stuff. And yeah, they seem really cool, but I'm not a huge Star Wars fan. I mean, I like Star Wars, but you know,
Yeah.
I'm not big into it. So I don't know. I don't know if I'll play it more. But they're really done well really done very well.
Yeah, if you like these games, then there's no better way to play them. They're really well done. Like the full lot, you can see if you're watching some of the video, you got like dismemberment and stuff. You can
Yeah.
use the lightsaber and throw it, and it comes back to you. Yeah, it looks really cool. It's just too old for me, and I've just got too many other games to play that I'd rather play instead. So, you'll know if you want to play this game or not, and if you do, I think you'll have a good time with it.
And they're free and they're on GitHub.
Yep.
So there you go. All right. So now we're going to go to Vampire the Masquerade Justice. I tried this last night.
What did you
Yeah.
think?
I was very impressed. And
It's
so
good, isn't it?
I was like, wow, this is way better than I expected because I had heard negative things about Quest and PSVR2, but I was like, holy shit, this is really impressive. And then because of that, I was like, all right, I was playing it through your account, and I was like, oh well, I gotta buy this. So
Yeah.
that's what I do anytime I'm playing a game that you own and I don't yet. Yeah, I'll buy it if it's good enough, and this definitely was. Yeah,
Yeah, I think it's great.
yeah,
It literally it feels like Walking Dead Saints and Sinners, but you're a vampire. It's like the
yeah.
environments, the look, the art style, everything just it was just like I felt like, am I in Walking Dead Saints and Sinners? Like when
Yeah, it
you go
definitely
to this like
does.
hideout, you go to this hideout section, that looks just literally looks like Saints and Sinners. It looks great though. I
Except
mean, that's
except you're very powerful and you can drop from any height and not die. I like that.
yeah. I mean, it starts off a bit slow where you obviously gradually gives you different powers. But after about an hour, you get really powerful, and yeah, it's a real power fantasy. You can really kind of like just take out. You stay in the shadows or you stay up at the top, and like you say, you can drop down from any height, and you don't get damaged, and you can just like sneak up behind people, grab them, and then bring your headset to the neck, and you literally drain the blood, and that's how you recharge. Like you have this hunger meter in your health, and obviously you get health back by doing that, but you also recharge your hunger meter. So you need your hunger meter to get powers, to use your powers, and like you've got different powers. Like you can teleport around. Like it's like this blink teleport, kind of like in Dishonored, where you can teleport across, which feels pretty cool actually the way they've done it.
And the
But you
sounds,
can,
there's
yeah,
like a
yeah.
flying sound when it does it. So yeah, it makes it cooler.
And you can like teleport onto someone and it like instantly kills them, like this weird like attack. And then you can use You can do one where you like something comes out of your arm and extends onto the head, and then it makes the head explode. There's one where you can like set up a trap underneath them, and then you can activate it, and like these things come up from the ground and kill them. You can make yourself invisible, so you can walk past people and they can't even see you. You can only do that with your hunger meters got any like power in it, so you can't just do it all the time. You've got to kind of like take someone out. You've got if you can stealth kill them and drain the blood, then you're better off doing that so you can replenish your hunger meter. You've got rats as well. Like there's rats around. You can like pull up into there and catch them, and then fight into them to replace some of your hunger meter. And yeah, it looks really like, graphically. It looks pretty cool on a video, but in VR, it looks really good. Actually, I'm really impressed with like, the visual, the polish. It feels like a really good quality VR game. And obviously, we spent a good amount of time at the beginning of this talking about Unreal Injector. You still can't beat a really good VR game. Like when you go into a VR game like this, which is made for VR and it's obviously got all the VR mechanics, it's just still, to me, as good as the Injector is, and some of these games are cool to play in VR, I still prefer playing these games overall just because of how cool they feel. Like you feel so much more immersed and everything just feels so much more polished and like the gameplay just feels more built for VR. So yeah, this was like a reminder to me that yeah, you know what, made for VR games are still really really good. The
It's funny you
Injector
say
hasn't
that.
stopped me. Fun.
Sorry, it's funny you say that because I was thinking the exact same thing when I was playing this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some people were saying that oh, the Injector is going to stop people from buying VR games and stuff, but I don't agree with that. Like, when I bought this myself with my own money, and I didn't get a key for it or anything. It came out. I saw it. It's only £20 at the moment on a discount, or it was like when it released. So it was like fine, £20. And I think it's like 6-7 hours long or something. So it's a decent length game. And yeah, it's a really good game. I recommend getting it. Vampire Masquerade Justice. It's a really solid. It's like a power fantasy almost because you're also powerful. You have got to obviously, like I say, replenish your hunger and stuff, but you're not like yeah. I have died a couple of times, but you still once you start to get a hang of the powers, it's really really fun to play.
Yeah, once they see you and there's multiple enemies, like they can shoot you and kill you pretty fast.
Yeah,
So yeah, I got
it's
killed. Yeah.
yeah. You kind of like a glass cannon type of thing where you can't take a lot of hits,
Yeah.
but you've got powers where you can. It's really cool. Like you can climb up like drain pipes and stuff, and then you walk along these ledges, and then you can teleport across to different sections. You can kind of like stalk people from above and then drop down behind them and then suck their blood. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the issue people are having with the other one, the Quest and PSVR2, is I think it was mostly performance. And I didn't have any performance issues on this one.
You shouldn't do, no. I mean, no,
Yeah.
performance is fine for me. Like the settings as well, where you can turn stuff down, but I left things pretty much default, I think.
Ultra. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great game, really good game. I highly recommend it.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, we're gonna go. I beat Asgard's Wrath 2 finally.
Nice.
So there are 7 sagas. First saga is kind of like just a tutorial. The second one is the whole desert thing, which is what most of the footage you see. The desert, in my opinion, is way too long. I think most people won't make it out of the desert. You're
The
this
game's too
character.
long.
Yeah, the game's too long. Quests unfortunately don't tell you how long you play the game. Probably took 60 hours. I don't know for
Yeah.
sure. You're
That
Abraxas
was just
in or say that
and that's
again.
just mainline in the story. You didn't like do side quests and stuff, did you?
Yeah, I very briefly tried the Uncharted Rifts and said, nope, I'm going back to the campaign. I've heard some people that are doing like tons of Uncharted Rift stuff, and I don't get
Is
how
that
that's
the
interesting.
is that like the roguelike mode, is it?
Yeah, where you just fight waves of enemies. I don't know how
Yeah,
that's
why would you wanna do
fun.
that when you're gonna be doing the
Yeah,
combat so much throughout the game? Why would you wanna, like, just dedicate just to that when you're gonna be doing it anyway? So you may as well just play the actual
I,
game.
I have no. Well, there's all this armor and weapon upgrades and stuff that I never even got to do because I didn't have enough shit to make them. So maybe that's what
Alright,
their goal is. They're like, I want
you
to
can
make
kinda
all the
grind.
yeah,
Yeah,
I want to grind and make all the best armor. But I didn't. I played it on the default normal difficulty. I didn't need all that other special armor and shit. But maybe if you play on the hardest difficulty, maybe you do. I
Yeah.
don't know. So Saga 2 is in the desert with Abraxas. It's just a standard warrior type dude. I don't know if this is too spoilery, but Saga 3, you get a new character where you play. She's female, a female. She's my favorite character, Cyrene, because she had these cool weapons. This harp that shoots out projectiles, which was way better than using Abraxas' hammer, in which you constantly doing a throwing motion. I read some people saying they think they got like tendonitis and injuries and shit from
Probably.
doing that fucking hammer so many times. So yeah, Cyrene had cool weapons, and then Saga 4, you go to hell. It's just like lava, hellish place, and you're a woman again who has a bow and arrow. She has these bombs that she can throw. She's pretty good. And yeah, that saga was pretty good. Then Saga 5 is just a long cutscene. Saga 6, you play as a new character who's like a necromancer type dude. He is really weird. His combat's really weird. You throw your head at the enemies. You just grab your head. He's kind of like he seems like some sort of zombie guy. And you throw it at the enemy, and then your head kind of overtakes the enemies, and then you can drain their life from them. Once your head's
Right.
overtaken them, and it fills up your shield. But if you use his weapon, his projectile weapon, you lose shield. It's really weird. So you could end up completely losing all of your shield just by like shooting at some enemies. So then what he ends up you end up just being like, well, I'm just gonna go in melee. So I just went in meleeing everywhere. Like whereas most of the game you either just like throw your hammer or do your siren harp projectiles. So maybe they did this character to force you to do a bunch of melee. And I figured it out and got good with him, but it was weird getting used to his attacks. Oh, and he also had portals. So like in the game Portal. So you would make
Right.
an orange portal and then somewhere else make, a purple portal and then you could go through. The portals were a pain in the ass cuz you had to shoot orbs through the portals for some puzzles and then it had to come out the other end and then hit a very specific spot. It was a huge pain in the ass sometimes to make that work right. Then so Saga, what was that? That was Saga 6, I think. Yes, Saga 6 was that dude. Then Saga 7, you pick one of the four characters. Did I say four characters? Wait. There's Abraxas, there's Cyrene, there's the neck. Oh, and then the hell, you're the woman with the I don't remember her name with the bow and
Oh,
arrow, and then the fourth
oh no,
character
yeah.
is that necromancer guy. You can pick which one you want to use against the final boss. You fight some boss, I don't know his name, then you fight the final boss, Loki.
All
And
right. Yeah.
the final boss fight was cool.
Yeah.
It's what you kind of expect. It's just kind of this long, really epic thing. There's a lot of scenes in this game where you have to. There's a lot of timing based stuff where you have to like hook, like kind of like in a Zelda game where you have a hook shot. And you have to hook shot onto stuff at the precise right time. So you will get frustrated in this game in some sections where you're not hook shotting onto something in time and you end up just falling to your death over and over and over again. There's a lot of that. But it's a good game. It's just definitely not for me a 10 out of 10. IGN gave it a 10 out of 10. For me, this is more like a 7, 7.5 out of 10 for me, honestly.
Yeah. Probably like the
It's
first game. The
so
first
it's
game.
so long and so
Yeah.
repetitive. Sorry, what were
Mm.
you gonna say?
So how do you take a game for 60 hours and keep it interesting? It's like I don't think it's even possible. I don't know. I mean,
Because they changed the characters up. That's the only way.
yeah, but
Change
even
the
then, like, then that's like if you've got four characters, then you're still spending what 15 hours a character or something. It's like I don't know. I mean, I haven't played it, so I need to get a. I'm probably gonna have to order a Quest 3 to be honest, but because they've got the offer on until March where you get this game for free, so I probably best off ordering before that.
yeah.
Um, and yeah, it's just I don't know. The first game was too long for me. That took me like 25 hours. Like them saying it's 60 hours is like, oh,
Yeah,
that's a turn off. Yeah,
yeah.
it's not
And there's
that's not
something,
something I
yeah, something that they never explain in the game, which I had to learn from reading discords and stuff, is that once you're done with one character, you have to go buy a potion called like the potion of emptiness. You and then you drink that, and then it'll reset his skill tree, and all those skill points will carry over to your next character. So you can
Oh,
really power up your next character, but the game never tells you that.
oh, right.
So once I did that, I was like, this is powerful as hell.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a little
Still
tip.
good. It's still a good game though. I mean,
Yeah.
if you buy a Quest 3 now, obviously you get it free, so it's like, you can't complain at that.
And it's very impressive that this can run on a mobile device.
And they still haven't really done like a big Quest 3 upgrade yet. Like it's still
Yeah.
technically a Quest 2 version, so
Yeah. They
the fact that
still
that's on the Quest 2, it is really impressive what they've done.
You can do higher frame rate, like 90 hertz, but I was finding the 90 hertz was giving me bad performance. So I've been playing it at 72 because
Yeah.
it's too inconsistent. And then what was the other thing they updated? I don't remember. There's one other thing that I can't remember now. But they have not updated the textures yet. That's still coming in the future.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna wait for, I think.
Yeah. All right, want to go to mixture demo?
Yeah, I was
I tried
disappointed
this
with this.
yesterday too. Oh, I tried it yesterday
Mm,
also.
I thought this was something I was really looking forward to because I like Moss a
Yeah.
lot. Um,
Mhm.
and this is obviously kind of a Moss-like where you're controlling a little character, like a little moth
Mhm.
character, and you're also first person creating like spells and throwing things and interacting with the world and the character and stuff. So I thought that would be really cool, but yeah, I was kind of disappointed. Like visually, I like the art style, but the environments in the demo looked really bland, like and uninteresting to me. And
Mhm.
I thought the combat was kind of it didn't feel like you control this little character and you could do combat and stuff, but it wasn't crunchy enough. It didn't feel like you were getting much feedback when you were hitting them. It just felt a bit weak.
Yeah, I agree.
Um, and it just made it not like when you play Moss, like you get little pops and sounds, and when you hit characters and stuff, and it just feels really good. With this, that there's no real audible or like there's no vibration. There's nothing to give you feedback on when you're like hitting enemies. Like the enemies don't really react and move as
Mhm.
much as you'd want when you hit. It's like it's the combat and the environments are definitely like quest environments that haven't been like upgraded or had any sort of work done for the PC or the
Yeah.
PSVR2 as well.
Yeah, maybe they just
So
increased
yeah,
the resolution. Maybe that's all they did.
yeah. So I'm not really that hyped on it anymore after playing the demo because it comes out. I don't even know if I'm supposed to say this, but I'll say it. No one listens anyway. But it's early March. It comes to PC and PSVR2. So it's next
Hmm.
month. It's getting a release. But yeah, it's for me. It was just like I don't know. And again, because we've got so many other things I'd rather play, it's like I didn't actually finish the demo because I was like, oh, I can't be bothered.
Yeah, I got to a point where there was a flying enemy, and I was like, I can't reach the flying enemy. You can't jump in this game. You do a dash, and he moves pretty slowly without the jet
Oh
dash.
yeah,
So
that's
then
really annoying.
that flying enemy, I had to use a mixture that they hadn't even taught me about yet. Um,
Right.
and I had to throw. So this is called mixture because you make mixtures that you end up throwing for different reasons, like to attack enemies or to put down something that the guy can jump on, or like if there's an obstacle in the way, you can throw this mixture at it that I guess will weaken it, and then your guy can then attack it to get through.
Even that's not really. Because all you do is like you suck up these things with your hand, and then you literally
Yeah,
just have a menu, and you just grab something from the menu and you throw it. Like there's no.
yeah,
I was expecting you to like mix stuff together with both hands and like conjure stuff or do some sort of spell or something, and you just
hmm
you just press a button, grab something, throw it. That's basically it.
I
It's
also
not.
didn't like there's all these little text cutscene things. That was annoying to me. Did that
Yeah,
bother
too
you
much
at all?
story. Yeah.
Yeah. I
Like you
don't need
said, the
story in a
movement
game like
was
this.
the movement really annoyed me because they
Yeah,
were like you've got like these big environments sometimes, and you walk so fucking slow.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's a shame because, like I say, in theory, when looking at the trailer and everything, I thought this game was going to be really cool, and I'm not that impressed. Some stuff didn't look right as well. In like some of the effects didn't look right in VR. Like when you move your head, like they look weird. I don't know if you saw that. Like certain
No.
reflective environments looked a bit
Oh,
weird.
yeah.
They didn't. Mm. Yeah,
Hmm.
it was. I'm not going to rush out and buy it. Let's put it that way when it comes out.
Okay. Next thing is this Ocean Rift MR thing. This was a free update to Ocean Rift. I did this. This is cool. So you can put, if you've done Ocean Rift before, it came out on Gear VR. I mean, it's old, but you can put now aquarium glass basically on your walls and walk around, and it really is convincing. I mean, it does because it changes the lighting in your room to match the light from the aquarium
Yeah,
glass. So like it'll make your room look like more blue-ish. And you can push a button to feed sharks, and then a shark will come and eat the meat. For me, it's kind of a one-time thing. Maybe it's a cool demo to show people.
that's
I
MR
showed it.
though to me. Like this MR stuff
Yeah,
all just feels like you do it. It's like, oh, it's cool, and then you just never do it
it's like,
again.
all right, yeah, yeah. So like, I showed it to a scuba diver, big time scuba diver, and she was like really into it. But I mean, she was new to VR. So yeah, on your ceiling you could put a tank. And well,
Yeah, it looks
it's
really
all
cool.
yeah, it's all connected. So like that shark, right, maybe it'll go over the top now. Let's see. Yeah, it went over the top. So it's
Yeah.
cool. But if you've already done Ocean Rift before, it's okay. I've already done all this. It's the same thing. It's just you're seeing less of the actual game world. Is really what it is.
Probably more immersive, but obviously there's
Yeah,
not really there's no gameplay. There's no game there. It's just
yeah.
a cool thing. You're not gonna do it. You're not gonna sit there in your room with this thing. Maybe some people do, like just have it on in the background. I don't feel like the Quest 3 is good enough to be productive in. I don't know if you feel that. Like, could you sit with this on, like have this in the background and
No.
do work? No.
Do work through the pass through?
Yeah, like have like a
No.
virtual screen and then
Mm,
like sit and do some video editing or something on the screen while you've got this in the background sort of thing, you know?
I've never tried. Like I'm okay. So right now I'm looking at my desktop, and it's high res enough that yeah. I mean, I definitely could do that,
So you could
but
potentially do
I
that.
have no desire to.
No. I think they need to get more
Um,
comfortable for me,
Way
to
more
do that.
comfortable. Yeah, yeah. It wouldn't make me any better or faster at the task I'm doing.
'Cause I do like, some, like, day trading stuff where I'm messing with, like, the stock market and,
Yeah.
I have to have I've got, like, a big uh, widescreen monitor and another smaller monitor with my charts and stuff on there. So for me, like, if it was good enough, I'd love to be able to because then I could just literally I won't have a setup. I could be any room, and I could just
Hmm.
pull up, as many monitors as I want, and it'd be perfect for me. I just don't. Maybe I need to get a Quest 3 to try that actually, but yeah, I just don't feel like. Actually, yeah, you know what? I'm thinking I need to get a Quest 3. If you think it's good enough to be able to, do you think it's good enough to do that?
I don't. So what I don't know is like how you do multiple screens. I got virtual desktop just to be able to.
Virtual desktop, wasn't it?
Yeah, I'm using virtual desktop just to play games. I don't really. I haven't messed with it much with my desktop. So I don't know how that works, like having multiple screens. I don't even know what I would do to make that happen,
Hmm. I'm thinking
actually.
about. I'm thinking of a real good use case for a
Like
Quest 3.
I wonder if you have to have multiple physical screens in order to have multiple virtual.
I don't think so. I think you can create as many because in you can create as many screens as you want. I think that's the whole point is that you don't have to have the screens physically. You just it basically
Mhm.
tricks Windows into thinking you've got a extra screen when you haven't, so that it just creates more and more screens. I mean, I think that's the whole idea.
I guess.
So yeah, if I could do that, then that would be pretty cool, to be honest.
Mhm.
'Cause then I won't like if I'm traveling or something, I won't have to take all my gear with me. I don't have to check all my. I need, yeah. You know what? I think I've just sold myself to buy a Quest 3. So 'cause I'm gonna do some traveling soon, and like the thought of having to take all my fucking setup and everything, like all my screens and shit, and it's just gonna be an absolute nightmare. So that could really be a good reason to get one.
Get an Apple Vision Pro.
Oh
Just
yeah, yeah,
kidding.
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
just kidding.
Three and a
Just
half
kidding.
grand.
Yeah.
I'm sure it would be. I'm sure it's better at doing that, but I'm not gonna spend that much for it.
Oh yeah, Brad Lynch, he claims he's not gonna use his monitor anymore and he's only gonna use the Apple Vision Pro. So,
Yeah, fanboy though. So
yeah. Well, he claims he's not an Apple fanboy, but I think he did already have Apple products, so who knows. All right, we'll go to the next thing. More water stuff. Whitewater VR Extreme Kayaking Adventure Demo. I tried this last
yep,
night too.
it's cool. I liked it.
Yeah, I thought it was cool. The only thing
I,
is, I I kind of thought it was a little hard to control, but maybe that's because of the rapids.
I thought it was easier to control because there's another game called Kayak Mirage, and I don't like
Hmm.
the controls in that. Like because
Oh,
what
okay.
happens is you can paddle, like say you paddle on your right, and you can keep paddling on your right in Kayak Mirage, and you can turn left. Is that right? It turns your opposite
Yeah,
side.
yeah, opposite.
But you can also stick the paddle in on the right and hold it
Yeah,
in, and then you'll do
yeah,
like a sharp right.
yeah.
So what ends up happening for me is that as I'm trying to paddle constantly on the right to go left, it's also trying to do the right turn, like the sharp right turn. So then even no
Oh.
matter I don't know, maybe it's just me, I've even contacted developers, and no matter how fast I try and paddle, it still feels like it's, like, pulling me back to the right when I'm trying to go left, and it really
Hmm.
annoys me to the point where I just didn't. Because there's in Kayak Mirage, there's, like, time trials and stuff you can do, which I really wanted to try and do, like, the times.
Hmm.
I just can't get to grips with the controls, whereas this one, Whitewater what's it called? Whitewater VR Extreme Kayaking,
Yeah.
it's, um it's more responsive. Like, if I paddle to the right, it goes left way quicker, and then it just feels more balanced, like, I can feel like I've got way more control over my steering. Obviously, you are fighting against the rapids, so it's harder to control in a way, but that's what makes it more fun because, like, with Kayak Mirage, you're just on a flat surface just paddling around, whereas this, you've got, like, proper cool like, visually, it looks really good with the rapids and everything,
Hmm.
really impressive in VR. And yeah, you're fighting against the rapids, you're trying to steer yourself and avoid rocks and stuff, and yeah, I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed it way more than Kayak Mirage. I don't think it's as polished, and visually, I don't think it's quite as good. Like, it looks great on
Hmm.
video, but in VR, it's a little bit soft, a little bit blurry. Textures aren't quite as high quality. The environments don't look quite as polished. It still looks great. Like, if you crank the super sampling up a bit,
Hmm.
it definitely makes a difference. But for me on my PC, I could only go up to 1.2 because it was struggling. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be fun, but I don't know how much time I would ever put into it. Like, it's one of the things. Once you've gone through all the levels, how much more time? It's like Kayak Mirage. How much time am I going to spend in it? I don't know, but it's fun. I like it.
So in the demo, you get one level. You're not in this video. You're seeing multiple. This is the level right here. If you're watching the video, this is the one that
Yeah,
you do in the demo. And it my first run, it took me like 11.5 minutes to get through it, and then
yeah. It
it
took me
told me on the
10
leader
minutes.
10 minutes. Well, wait till you hear this. Then it told me my
Okay.
rank was 317th, and I was like, I can do better. So then I went through it again,
Okay.
and then I got 21st with the
Oh my
time of
god.
like 6 minutes something. Um,
See, that's a good thing. You really like that sort of leaderboard stuff. I don't really give a
yeah,
shit about that.
especially if it shows your friends, which it didn't show. But I want to compete with my friends for sure. So
Yeah, Alfonso will compete with you. He's really competitive with that sort of
yeah, he
stuff.
will.
I really
I'll
don't
kick
care.
his ass. I'll kick his little ass.
What I want is if they put like times, like if you like gold meat, I like stuff where you've got like medals. Like if you get like a bronze, silver, gold, so you've got like these specific times to go for.
Yeah.
I like that sort of stuff. But if it's just like against my friends, that's just it's just because you're constantly I'm gonna beat you and then you're gonna beat me, and it's like, oh, I can't be bothered. No.
Yeah, and Kayak Mirage, VR Mirage, like I did each level I think like once, then I was like, all right, well, it's kind of
Kinda-
boring.
It's kind of
This is more
boring, yeah.
fun. This is more fun
It's,
because yeah, the rapids and shit.
yeah, it's the rapids that
Yeah,
make it. Like I said,
yeah.
it looks great. I think the controls are more responsive and better. The rapids make it more interesting. It's like a
But
time trial thing as well, where you have to
mhm.
collect boxes. But that was
Yeah, I
really
see
hard.
that.
I couldn't do that.
I didn't try that. But one thing I know, you can't push with your oars against the sides. They'll probably add that because VR Mirage didn't have that initially, and they had to update it.
Yeah, the
So yeah,
physics are not as good. Like when you
yeah.
hit something or like you can't push yourself off. At one point, I went off into like I ended up going off onto like the land, and I could still paddle. I could still stick my paddle in and paddle, and it will like water
Oh
splashes and
yeah,
stuff.
it
So
was acting like water for me too when I was on the
yeah,
land.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And there's no sound as well. Like the sound could do with a bit more. Like when you hit something, there's no sound of
Mm,
you hitting something. If like I
mm,
say, it just feels a bit. It needs a bit more polish.
mm-hmm.
Um, but like I think it's cool though. Like as long as
Yeah,
it's not too expensive, I'll definitely get it.
yeah. All right. Walkabout mini golf around the world in 80 days. We played this with Josh, and
Oh yeah.
just like most of these, it's like yeah, it's good. I don't,
Yeah.
I don't know.
There's not really much to say. The only thing I'll say
Yeah.
is that, and I know maybe I was being naive, but it was called Around the World in 80 Days, but you're
Hmm.
literally on the Eiffel Tower. Like, okay.
Yeah.
If it was called Eiffel Tower, I'd be like, oh, cool, this is on the Eiffel Tower. But because it was pitched as Around the World in 80 Days, it was like, I was expecting you to like teleport, like, because we've played the last one, which was that, what was it called? That,
Meow Wolf.
Meow Wolf. Because we had that one, which was so cool and creative, and you can teleport to different places, I thought, that's what they were gonna do with this. I thought they were gonna like have an area where you were like in Paris, an area where you were gonna be like somewhere else, and I thought that would be a really cool, creative way of doing it. But it's just literally in Paris on the Eiffel Tower. Still cool, but there's not really much to say other than yeah, it was alright.
All right.
It's like
Big
it's cool.
big news is you got a PSVR too.
Yeah, yeah. Luckily, someone in the Discord, Drew, a friend of mine, he bought one to play Resident Evil 4 VR, and then said he wasn't bothered about it, and I could have it for £250. So I was like, damn, I can't resist that because there's normally over here they're £530. So it was less than half price, and even second hand they go for like I even said to him like, dude, the £400 second hand on eBay, just sell it on eBay, and he was like, nah, fine, you can have it for that. I was like, fine, I'll have it, and then I bought a
Yeah.
PS5 Slim. Um, So I had to buy prescription lenses, and I needed to buy a comfort kit, which I'll talk about in a minute. So the whole thing cost me 600 and something pound, which I think, including the PS5 and the headset and everything, I think is fine. Like for a full system, I think that's pretty good. Like for me,
Yeah.
I don't think that's too bad. And yeah, I've the headset itself, which I'll go over quickly because everyone's already heard so many people talk about this. I think that um the screens are a mixed bag. I think that they look like I love the HDR. I love the obviously the OLED colors. The HDR especially, I feel like there's times where, like in Resident Evil 4, that they'll throw a Molotov cocktail at night at you, and then all of a sudden, like you've got like these flames that fire up right in front of you, and like the brightness and the intensity of the flames, and obviously the color, the way the color pops, just looks really, really good in the headset. Just certain circumstances, like in Gran Turismo 7, if you're on a really bright sunny day, like when you look out of the windscreen, like you've got that. Do you know in real life when it's really sunny outside and you've got like that glare off the tarmac and it's like really bright where you feel like you need sunglasses?
Mm-hmm.
It's got that intensity to the brightness where it feels like wow, that's really bright, sunny outside. It just it's just got those moments where the HDR and the brightness really makes a difference to like just how real things feel, like how the lighting feels.
I heard that
Um,
before. Some people were like, I had to squint, yeah, because it was so
yeah,
bright.
it feels
Yeah.
really good. Like if you're in like a like there's a section in Resident Evil 4 where you're on this boat and I park the boat
Hmm.
up and it's got like a spotlight on the front of the boat. And I look back and the spotlight was shining on the water and the brightness of the reflection of the spotlight was like bright. It was like really wow, that's really bright, like it would be in real life. So
Hmm.
the HDR is really impressive. The colors are really impressive. Like in Gran Turismo 7, sometimes like some of the cars, like if they're like a really vivid like blue or a yellow, the color just really pops. Like the brake lights really pop in the headset, and it looks really, really good. Like it makes the gloss on the paint really shiny, and the colors look deep, and it does make a difference. Um, it's definitely impressive. The downside is Miura, which is actually obviously I'd heard people talk about. Which if you don't know what it is, it's basically like you might know more, but it's like a mismatch between the two screens or something, and
That's
it causes like
the
a
inconsistent lighting between the pixels.
yeah.
So some pixels are brighter than other pixels. Yeah.
I thought they could stop that with software, like if they calibrated the
Well,
screens,
like,
but I think that
yeah, Oculus did that with that Spud stuff.
yeah, but then it
I don't
affects the brightness.
know.
I don't know, it
Yeah.
has some downsides, but it's not
Yeah.
like a free thing. But yeah, it's I noticed the mirror instantly. It's kinda like screen door, but it's not screen door. It's like this mesh, like a really fine,
Mhm.
ultra fine mesh
Mhm.
that's stuck to your face. So wherever you look, it kind of follows your view. But
And
I will say that
it's worse in dark scenes?
yeah, it's way
Okay.
worse in dark scenes, which is the other thing. Like people say, oh, you can get true blacks in this OLED screen. It's like, well, yeah, that's great. Apart from the fact that you've got fucking Miura, which ruins the dark scenes. So I'd say like darker scenes, especially like anything that's grayish, like a grayish color, like
Mhm.
mostly gray. Like if the screens, like if you're in GT7, it's like a gray day with the gray tarmac. You can see it a lot more. But if it's like a bright day or the most of the time you don't see it. Most of the time it's not that bad. You can see it, but it's not like it just goes to the back of your mind and you don't really notice it. But there are times where like I went into this like cave section in Resident Evil 4 and it was really, really bad. I was like, wow, that looks really terrible.
Mm.
And it's got smearing as well. Do you know like I was in a cave section and like you could see like smearing, smudging of the blacks where it's like it shouldn't be. It's like really black and splodgy at places on the screen,
Hmm.
and then it kind of goes away as you get closer to it. So it's yeah, the dark scenes don't look they look good in certain scenarios, um, but if it's just pure dark, it don't look great. It's like it looks better if you're in a dark scene with like a fire or a flame or there's something going on. But if it's just pure dark, like with dark grey dark, like it doesn't look that great to be honest. But majority of the time, it's not like that. Majority of the time, it looks great, and overall, I do like the screens, but I wouldn't swap them for my index screens just because of the Miura and because of the times when it doesn't look as good. Because when I went back to index after and I played that Vampire Masquerade Justice,
Mhm.
I was like, yeah, this looks really good. Like, it would look if you didn't have the Miura, it would look better in the PSVR2 because the colors would pop way more. But I do personally prefer index screens because you haven't got that Miura.
Wow. That's, like, that's really surprising that I haven't tried a PSVR 2, but wow, that you prefer Index
It's just the
over.
Miura,
Mhm.
like I say, the
Yeah.
Miura. Get rid of the Miura and it'd be awesome.
Yeah.
But just when you've
Yeah.
got that, it just pulls
I
me out of the experience when you've got that like
mm.
film, like
Mhm.
fine grain film, like on your view. It just
Yeah.
really pulls me out immediately of the game.
PSVR 1 had that really bad.
Yeah, I've
I've
heard that
I've
this is
heard
better than that.
yeah, everyone says it's better, yeah.
So if it was really bad on the PSVR one, then yeah, that must suck because it's worse than I thought. I'll be honest. I didn't think it was going to be as bad as it was. on the
Yeah.
PSVR2.
So the PSVR1 was an RGB stripe OLED. So the screen door in that thing was pretty good, but it had the bad mirror. But and a lot of people complained, were like, "What is this screen door shit I'm saying?" And I think it was really just the mirror,
Yeah,
however the hell it's pronounced.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the lenses are bad. There's no getting around it.
Okay.
The when you get them in the sweet spot, it's fine. But the sweet spot is so fucking small. I've had a real hard time with this headset getting it comfortable, getting it to the point where I can keep it in the sweet spot. I've just about done it. Like today, I actually played a couple of hours of Resident Evil 4 earlier on, and I
Hmm.
was fine. I was comfortable, and I'd have carried on. But I needed to have something to eat. But for
Did
like
you
I put
get?
like
Did you
20
get?
hours.
Did you? Sorry, did you get an extra strap or some shit?
Yeah, I had the standard comfort's dog shit. I hated the
Yeah.
standard comfort. I know that some people are fine with it, and it's going to be subjective because I was thinking about this because I was thinking, well, how come some people have it where it's okay? I think the problem is that the way that the headset's designed is it's got like this pad at the top, which is supposed to sit on your forehead, and
Hmm.
maybe I've got a small forehead or something. Like my eyes aren't that far up from the top of my head, and because the pad only the only the bottom part of that pad sits on my forehead.
Okay.
There's a section like at the top of the pad which is literally just floating in above my head,
Yeah.
and if I try to pull the pad down onto my forehead, then obviously the headset sits too low and it's not in the sweet spot anymore. So
Hmm.
I think if you've got a bigger forehead, maybe a normal forehead, I don't know, maybe I've got a small forehead, but so that the pad sits like fully supported on your head and rests on your forehead, I
Hmm.
can imagine that it would be a lot more comfortable. But for me, like I'm literally balancing like the bottom part of the pad on my forehead, and then you've got like this hard plastic behind it. There's no padding on the standard padding is like non-existent on the headset. So it's literally you've got a bit plastic digging into your head, and on top of that, because there's no top strap, and because the sweet spot small, the sweet spot, oh fucking hell, sweet spot is so small, I have to crank up the tightness to stop it from constantly dropping and falling out of the sweet spot. So
Hmm.
like 20 minutes, and I was ready to take the headset off. It was really painful. Um, I didn't like it standard. I couldn't use it.
I have a big forehead, and PSVR1 killed my forehead.
Wasn't it
And
more like a pinch feel? Like
yeah, they had
I think some
there's
people.
elastic in the band that like made it like a vice on my damn forehead. So I had to detach the elastic, and that helped. But then I had to wear the headset in a really weird way because the elastic,
Yeah,
like, 'cause then I had to put the back of the band up really high to get the screens at the right angle.
yeah,
It was weird.
yeah. It's not. That's the thing because you've got to get the screens at the right angle. So there's only really one way you can really put it to get the screens to sit right in the eyes with the sweet spot in the right place.
Hmm.
And if sometimes it feels kind of like you need to move it in a different position, but you can't because of the lenses and the sweet spot. And obviously, everyone's head's different. Everyone's eyes are different. Like I say, everyone's foreheads are going to be different. Everyone's head sizes are going to be different. So it's difficult to make a headset that's going to work perfectly for everybody. So if you own the headset and you say it's really comfortable, I believe you. I just think for me, with my forehead, my head shape, it wasn't comfortable at all. Like at all. It was as soon as I put it on, it's fine. It's just like this buildup of pressure on my forehead, and eventually it gets to the point where I just want to take it off, and it gives me a headache. So I couldn't use it standard, so I bought it was £50. It's called a cluster. What's it
Globular.
called? Some globular cluster fucker, some sort of head strap thing. It's quite good actually. It's £50, but it comes with loads of stuff. But you've got this replacement plastic bits that clip off. You clip off the standard thing and you clip on this new thing, and it's got like 3 different pads you can choose from, different fabrics that you can put on the top, and then you've got like a cup that replaces the back, and then the cup sits like on the back of your head, and it holds the headset in place way better than the standard. strap, and you've got a top strap. They've got 2 different top straps. They've got a straight normal one, what you see on normal headsets, and then they've got one which has got like a padding, like a spongy padding. I've actually switched to. I think that's what's made the difference. I've switched to the spongy padding one, and it's actually more comfortable with that for whatever reason. Yeah, I've fucked about with this thing for days now, and I finally think I've changed the padding. I've tried the different paddings out. The one I went for was like this pleather one, just because it's got thicker padding and it seems to not squash as much.
Mhm.
And I've also had to. What I've had to do is like it's like a Velcro thing that straps onto the top. I've had to unvelcro it and then move it down, so it's kinda don't sit where it should sit. It kinda sits a little bit further down and overhangs the bottom a little bit. Because I've done that now, it's comfortable. But yeah, it's not a great design. It it's put me off Halo straps. I know that's probably not as bad on the Quest with the Bobo head strap, but yeah, I do prefer the Index. Like the Index, I've
I
got the Index on now. We've been sat for 2 hours and I'm fine with it. So
This Bobo Halo thing started bothering me, so I added a top strap for $9.99. I got this Bobo retrofit kit that had a top strap on Amazon for like $9.99, and then that's helping. But yeah, I definitely
yeah, they
prefer
need
a
top
top
strap.
strap. It's from front to back.
You need a
Yeah.
top strap. You need to be able to
Yeah.
support heads to stop it from dropping. And because you have the top strap, you can release the pressure. You don't
Yeah.
need it as tight. So yeah, the top straps are essential, I think. But yeah, I definitely recommend this. Even if you're happy with with the fit standard, I still think you should get this kit because it's only going to make it even more comfortable with the top strap and everything. Yeah, how much time we got? Because you've got to go in a bit. Let me try
We
and
have we
rush
have
through
10
this.
minutes. Now we have 9.
Oh shit!
So we're just gonna skip. We'll just skip the upcoming games. We'll just end with your PSVR2 stuff.
All right, let me quickly go through this then. Yeah, bottom line is headsets comfortable now, but it's not when it's default. The lenses are shit. You have to get them in the sweet spot. When you get them in the sweet spots, they're fine, but you still can't walk around as much as I'd like. Controls are good. I like the haptics. Um, my hands get a bit sweaty on them for some reason though. I don't know why. It's the plastic or something they use. Yeah, and the games I've played, I'll talk about the ones I've played fully. GT7. I tried the Horizon Call of the Mountain demo. I tried the Star Wars Enhanced Edition thingy demo, and I've recently bought Resident Evil 4 VR, which has just got an update on a price. It's now £35, so really good price in my opinion. And yeah, the good thing about the PSVR2 is the games. The games are absolutely awesome. Um, GT7 is up there with one of my favorite games I've ever played. Now, I absolutely love this game.
Wow.
If you're a car nerd like me, and you've got like a steering wheel and stuff, fucking awesome. It's like I absolutely love it. I've put like 25 hours into it already, and it's just I just can't stop playing it. Yeah, it's great. Visually, it looks like looks really clear in this like the short term, like when the car's next to you and everything. It's a little bit soft further off into the distance, but it's still fine. I still think it looks good. I mean, I'm fussy about this stuff, and it's fine for me. I think it looks, it's more than playable. Um, Resident Evil 4 looks great. Again, a little bit soft maybe towards the distance, but overall looks really perfectly sharp and clear. Um, Resident Evil 4 VR is really, really, really good. Like I've been playing that. I bought it because the price dropped, and I've just been playing it non-stop this weekend. I've put like 5 hours into it already. It's just great. It's just a great game, and the VR port's really good. Like the gun handling's really good. The way that they've done like the recoil with the haptics, and then we've got like a little, I don't know what it is, like there's like a slight blurring, like a depth of field or something with the head, like with the
Hmm.
vision. Like a split second thing, but it makes such a difference to the power of the guns. I still think developers should be more creative with that stuff. It's like with Bulletstorm, like they've not done any sort of effects or stuff. Like with Crossfire Sierra Squad, they've got a little bit of head shake. It does make a difference. I think it does make the guns feel more powerful, and they've done that in Resident Evil 4. I was actually surprised as well with they've not like held back on certain things. Like you can drop off of ledges and stuff, and you literally drop. You don't like teleport down or Doesn't cut to
Nice.
third person.
Yeah, Asgard's Rat 2
Yeah,
won't let you drop down.
yeah, you can just drop down. You press a button
Mm,
to do it, but then it literally just drops. Like sometimes you drop
mhm,
really quick as well. It's like some people might struggle with that, but it's got like tunneling and vignetting and stuff like that. Um, and yeah, there's some stuff that flicks to third person. Like if you do that roundhouse kick, it flicks to third person, which I don't use. You don't need to use it, so I've just not been
mhm,
bothering using it.
okay.
Yeah, the
I
gun
guess you only
handling's
you
really
only you
good.
on you only use it if you're out of ammo, I guess?
I used it twice really early on in the game. But one thing I will say is the game's kind of easy. I'm kind
Mhm,
of wish I'd started on hard.
hmm,
Because in VR, I feel like I can just blast through them pretty quick. I had the same problem with the Resident Evil 4 remake, the Resident Evil 4 mod with Quest 2. It's really, really easy. This is a bit harder, but yeah, I'm not finding it too much of a challenge. So if you want a challenge, you might want to start on hard. I thought about restarting the game on hard, but I'm 5 hours in, and I don't think I want to do that. But yeah, it's pretty easy. Still fun though. Like shooting feels really good. It's got full manual reloading. The reloading was really well done. Feels really polished. Uh, yeah, it's just a great game that's got a solid VR port that I'm just really enjoying. Like I just can't put the game down. It's really visually, it's like really impressive. One of the best games I've seen in VR. I mean, I'm gonna wait till I've finished it, but I think this could definitely be up there with, it's in my top three probably.
hmm,
Same with GT7. Like Vertigo 2 is no longer my VR game of 2023. Let's put it that way. So
hmm. I bought it for
yeah,
$29.99, RE4 on Steam, and I'm waiting for my savior Prey Dog to release the mod, the first person mod with motion controls. Whenever that
yeah.
happens.
I don't know when it'll happen, but
No,
it's
no.
it's gonna be worth playing it in VR. Definitely. Uh, I will say that I played the mods, the other games with the mods, and this is obviously like you've got to deal with reprojection, which if you're playing with smooth turn is a problem. I will say that I have no issues with the reprojection at all because I don't use smooth turn. I literally
Mhm,
physically turn my body. I don't even barely notice it. The only time I've noticed it is in Horizon Call of the Mountain demo. When you turn your head, for some reason, it's really bad in that game. Like when you turn your head, you can still see like some slight blurring when you actually move your head around. Like it's like a slight motion blur almost. So I don't know what they've done with that game where the reprojection's quite bad in it, but it's still fine if you physically turn.
It
But yeah, I
it looks
tried.
like a really bright game, so I wonder if the brightness has something to do with it. Uh,
Maybe I was listening to the Recentered podcast, and Rog was saying that for whatever reason, when he's like climbing, and if he
mhm,
uses smooth turn when he's climbing,
yeah,
he sees no reprojection.
yeah,
Um, I think there's something with the game, there's something they've done because like I say, I don't see that blurring with. When I turn my head with Resident Evil 4, I don't see that blurring, and Gran Turismo 7 looks great. Like I've not seen reprojection really, barely noticing it at all. Maybe I'm not sensitive to it. I don't know, but for me, it's not an issue at all. I'm not. It's not like oh shit. It's not like I'm playing it. I'm like oh, I wish this would be great if it didn't have reprojection. I just don't even think about it. It's not. It's not a problem.
mhm,
Um, yeah, Call of the Mountain's good. I played the demo, which was actually surprisingly long. I thought it was just going to be the boat section at the beginning to like showcase people, but you actually get off the boat, you get your bow and arrow. One thing I didn't like about the bow and arrow is that do you know like normally you've got a bow and arrow game, you move your hand, the arrow aims, and then the hand with the bow is fixed. With
mhm,
this, it's the opposite. So you aim with the bow hand, and the hand with the bow with the arrow is fixed, which feels a
hmm,
bit odd.
yeah,
But it uses the eye tracking to like assist your aim anyway, which you can turn off if you want to, but I didn't personally want to do that because of the bow and arrow aiming didn't feel that great without
hmm,
it. So yeah, it looks beautiful. Like graphically, all three of these games that I've played, GT7, RE4, and Horizon Call of the Mountain, are some of the best visually I've seen in any VR game. Like you've got three AAA VR games all on one system, which is why I bought it. It's that's I bought it for the games, not for the hardware, and I'm not disappointed because of it, especially with the price I paid for it. And, you know,
Yeah.
it's been worth it. And as long as they bring more AAA games out like this, which I can't play on the PC, then it will pay for itself. Will have been worth the price.
Yeah, I don't
So
know if
yeah,
there's any other exclusive coming. I don't know.
I don't know. Hopefully, we'll see some more, but they've already got these 4 or 5 games that I wanna play, so to me, it was worth at the price I paid for it,
Yeah.
and I'm very happy with it. I'm very happy now. I've sorted the comfort out, and I'm playing it more than PC stuff at the moment.
Hmm.
Other
Nice.
the games, obviously.
Yeah. All right. Well, we gotta cut
Like I was
this
saying,
one
I
short.
think that's it.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah, I need to go take care of my kid. So that's it for this one. Thanks for listening.
Yep.
Got anything else, Alex?
No, we'll talk more. I can talk more about PSVR2 and stuff later, and obviously we'll update more on UEVR as we play more games as well in the future. But there's lots to play. I think we've got lots to look forward to this year as well.
Yeah. All right. See you later.
See ya. Bye.